Because of the following NBA championship game between Phoenix and Boston, Cannon and the Blue Knight will not be presented this evening.
It all began on a Sunday afternoon in the Boston Garden. JoJo White went on a tear for the Boston Celtics, poured in 12 straight points. They took a 1-0 lead on the Phoenix Suns for the NBA title. Game 2 was played on a Thursday night, and it was a withering attack in the third quarter that opened the game up as the Celtics won the first 2 at home. The scene then shifted down to Phoenix on a Sunday morning. It was tough. It was by far the most physical game of the series. A fight erupted in the second quarter between number 27, Kevin Stakem, and number 40, Ricky Sobers. Stakem of the Celtics and Sobers of the Suns both were tossed out after the incident. Then the Suns went up by 23. Celtics battled back, and it took a 33-point effort by Alvin Adams to pull the game out for Phoenix. And that sets the scene for Game 4 tonight in the Veterans Memorial Coliseum here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's Boston against Phoenix, and the Suns need another victory to tie it up. Good evening, everybody, and I think you can tell that the crowd here in Phoenix is ready for this NBA championship game. I'm Brent Musburger along with Rick Barry, and Rick, I have looked so forward to this game ever since the one ended on Sunday.
Well, Brent, there's no doubt about it. It's a very crucial game for the Suns to try to get themselves back into the series. And I know that the Boston Celtics feel that they can win this basketball game. They are going to have a commanding lead over the Phoenix Suns. And you talked about a physical game. The last ball game, this one is really going to be something. We can really look for tremendous intensity on the part of both basketball teams.
All right, also working with us, Mindy Rudolph and Sonny Hill. Mindy has been in the Phoenix locker room, and he can tell us about the mood of the Suns. Mindy?
It's June the 2nd here in Phoenix, but I'll tell you, it's like New Year's Eve. It's that kind of an atmosphere. And it's an atmosphere of like a crusade with the Phoenix ball club on my back, the Phoenix Suns, followed by their loyal fans who are on a crusade against the Boston Celtics, the bad guys. Contrary to a lot of opinions, Boston is not a rough club. They're not a dirty club. They're a hard-nosed, physical, aggressive club, and that's the kind of a basketball game that Phoenix is going to play tonight. They're going to play the same kind of a game that they played on the third game that beat Boston. So we could expect a nose-to-nose battle with the Phoenix Suns. We could expect a lot of rebounding, a lot of tough, rough, tumble basketball game. And now to Sonny Hill with more on the Boston story. Sonny?
More on that big boot that you heard in the background there, Mindy. Talking to the Boston Celtics basketball players, you get the impression that they recognize how important this basketball game is. I spoke with Dave Cowens, Charlie Scott, and John Doe Havlicek, and all of them agreed that they had to come out and establish the tempo of the game. Charlie Scott took it a step further and said they had to play the aggressive basketball that is noted for the Boston Celtics and not let the referees or the fans or anybody else take them away from that. Now let's go to Brent Musburger and Rick Barry.
Sonny Hill, thank you very much. And we are set to go. And the second standing ovation for the Suns now taking place in the Veterans Memorial Coliseum. But look out, because as Rick Barry predicted, this could turn out to be a war as we check those starting lineups. It'll be Kaburski again for Heights and Celtics. John Havlicek will come off the bench. Silas and Perry, the other forwards. Adams and Collins, the centers. And then the guards, Westfall and White, and Sobers against Scott.
Two things to look for. We can look for Dave Cowens trying to establish a game down low. He didn't do that in the last ball game. Also, Phoenix may send their forwards up the floor to relieve some of the pressure on the guards by setting backcourt picks.
All right, Rick, Celtics with control. Silas gave it off, and JoJo White hits the first shot of this game. He was the first Celtic on the floor for practice, and for about 15 minutes, I don't think he missed a single shot. The Boston Celtics have come to play this basketball game. Perry is out away from the basket as Kaburski takes him. The rookie of the year, Alvin Adams, passing inside underneath, and we've got our first foul called by Manny Soko working with Don Murphy.
Well, we, of course, have Charlie Scott once again getting into early foul trouble. Picks up the first foul with only 29 seconds gone in the ball game.
Inbounds pass goes to Alvin Adams, who scored 33. Cowens says he's going to play some defense tonight. I'm going to make it. Perry on the turnaround for the baseline. In and out, and Alvin Adams with a second chance. Silas with control, and the Celtics with an early 2-point lead, put up there by a field goal by JoJo White.
Silas over to Kaburski. Bad finger and all. Misses outside. You see Collins pursue the ball against Adams, and Adams bounced it off in and out of bounds.
There sure was a lot of contact in that play. Manny Sokol right on top of it. Didn't feel that a foul was justified. Mindy, what do you think of that one?
No harm, no foul. Right, Rick.
Adams back to help out as the Celtics go to their pressure defense. This is the 4th set of referees that we have had in this NBA championship series. Ricky Sobers, the rookie from Nevada at Las Vegas, going over to Alvin Adams, the other rookie from Oklahoma. Gar Hurd comes over to try and screen and help out. Shot clock a factor. Westball with a bomb outside. Off the front of the rim, a fresh 24 for the Phoenix Suns. Sobers gives it to Curtis Perry. Collins trying to clog the middle, stepped out on Perry, who misses. Suns a little tight here in the opening seconds of this game.
Their shot selection leaves a little bit to be desired at this point.
Gar Hurd was coming baseline, but he was fouled by Paul Silas as he went up in the air. And Silas has picked up his first foul. 2 team fouls against the Celtics, none against the Suns. We've had only 1 field goal put up there by JoJo White. 10:29 left in the first quarter. Westball, and JoJo comes with him from behind the Adams screen. Westball tries to get inside, clogged up, and Silas with still another rebound. You can feel the crowd and the intensity of this game right off the top. Game 4, NBA championship. Here's Collins, just what Rick Barry predicted. Going inside on Alvin Adams, trying to make him work. He hit the field goal, and he drew the first foul.
Here we take a look at the play. Charlie Scott getting the ball into Adams. Dave Collins on a tough shot. He turned right into Alvin Adams. He's going to pick up an opportunity for a 3-point play. I would have thought that Dave would have spun back the opposite way. He had a lot more room there.
If you missed Sunday's game, Collins, who was hustling back for the steal, fouled out. And that's when Alvin Adams went crazy. Adams now giving the ball to Ricky Sobers. Charlie Scott is with him, and here's Westball. Westball's 44. White came over, and there was contact and a personal against JoJo White. Tommy Heinsohn yelling instruction to the Celtics, who have opened up a 5-0 lead. The Suns have not yet scored, but we've had 3 fouls against the Celtics and 1 against the Suns. Alvin Adams outside. Many of their shots off the mark and short. Perhaps the club's still a little tense. Kaburski was in on top of Perry, and it was offense as Perry swung around. Offensive foul that time is called.
John McLeod showing a little concern of the inability of his team to put the ball in the basket in these early stages of this very important game for the Phoenix Suns.
The guards have not shot particularly well in this series, with the exception of JoJo White, the only one over 40%. Silas outside from the perimeter off the iron, and Perry controls. Hits Garfield Hurd and off his leg and out of bounds. Scott and White in the backcourt. Among the better duos of guards in the NBA. Westball comes around behind and knocks it away. Now Paul is back there working with Garfield Hurd. It's back. Westball on the drive comes right through, and there is a foul as Westball was driving to the basket. And Heinsohn says that's offense. He can't believe it.
That was a good... Mindy, I think that was a good call. Let's take a look at this one. Paul Westball takes the ball down the floor on the steal here. And we'll watch Paul Silas and Steve Kaburski get back underneath the basket. Here he comes going right in. There's movement on the play. The man did not establish position.
Question was, Rick, on the play, did he get hit first by Kaburski, or did he bang into Silas first? And in my opinion, Kaburski hit him first. It was a good call.
And the foul went to Kaburski, his first, and Paul Westball has put the Phoenix Suns on the scoreboard with 9 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the first quarter. It's 5-2, Celtics over the Suns. 3 points for Collins and 2 for White. And a little high and off of Collins' left hand. Bad pass from JoJo.
There were plays like that that plagued the Celtics in the last basketball game. They made an exorbitant amount of turnovers early in the first quarter.
Perry back to help the guards with control of the ball. With pressure defense right now. You can watch the Celtics force the Suns into some bad shots. And Silas with control. And here comes Charlie Scott and the Boston Green. Swinging right wing inside. Collins making Adams work. Rolling the hook shot, and we had another foul. Westball. 24. On Garfield Hurd, number 24.
We'll watch it again as Dave Collins definitely trying to establish the inside game. You saw Paul Westball reach in. grabbed Dave Cowens on the arm, and he's going to the free throw line for the second time in this ball game. And Phoenix Suns, once again, that inability to put the ball in the basket, which hurt them so badly back in Boston, is plaguing them here on their own home court. They are shooting 0%.
Pressure in the backcourt from the Celts. Adams down there to help out, and here comes their ball handler, Ricky Silvers, who was kicked out after engaging in a second quarter fight with Kevin Stegham in Game 3 on Sunday. Westfall pops out. Crowd wants a foul call. Westfall on a penetration rolls the left-handed shot. Outlet from Cowens to JoJo White. Silvers and Hurd are back. From the perimeter, White in and out, and Hurd was there to rebound. You can just tell that the Celtics want this one in the worst way. Alvin Adams back now to Paul Westfall, left side. It's 7-4. Listen to the crowd here in Phoenix. You can't hear yourself think.
Well, they were waiting 4 minutes for that shot to go in.
7:54. Silas right side. They give him the shot. He is not a good shooter. And there's a loose ball foul. It's on David Cowens.
Right.
And Heinsohn is going crazy over there. We've got a timeout called, and Tommy Heinsohn was pushed away by John Killalay. He's all over the officials. He can't believe the loose ball foul call against Dave Cowens, and his circle is just called a technical. So the Boston Celtics, with Coach Tommy Heinsohn doing the arguing, have just picked up a technical foul. Killalay pushing Heinsohn back toward the Celtic bench. Something, Mindy Rudolph, you said you were expecting here tonight.
I expected Tommy to explode. And every time I look like Tommy Heinsohn, he reminds me of a pressure cooker whose safety valve is stuck and ready to explode at any time. Now the officials must keep the game under control in order to keep this thing in hand, because if they don't, we're going to have an awful lot of problems out here. We should see a lot of fouls called early.
Now comes Miller time. You're so good you can play the blues even when you ain't sad. And now it's time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
Well, hi there, little fellas.
What you doing?
Oh, I'm checking my new Johnson CB. You know, they're the folks that make my official radio. Oh, and now this here's your mic.
Does it have automatic speech compression? A noise blanker?
This here's your built-in
Dual
mic.
crystal filtering? Automatic gain control?
And this here's the dial. Of course, when you fellas are older, you'll understand all this technical stuff.
Get yourself the professional CB. Johnson, the great American adventure.
10-4.
Tonight's NBA championship game is sponsored by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Johnson CB, the great American adventure. And by Norelco Rotary Razors, one electric that's earned the right to be called a razor.
Tommy Heinsohn was still scowling at referee Murphy throughout that timeout. The score is the Celtics 7 and Paul Westfall 5. Alvin Adams at the line has pulled the Suns to within 1 point. We have 7 minutes and 48 seconds, and Adams can tie it. Celtics come back down against the Suns defense and this crowd that has gone crazy ever since Game 3 began on Sunday. Here's JoJo White getting inside with the pass. They have turned it over again.
That was a great defensive series by the Phoenix Suns. They did not allow the Celtics to do anything.
Sobers at the line. Suns lead.
That's the first lead of the game for the Phoenix Suns.
7 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the first, and Heinsohn still screaming at the referee. White with a miss. Garfield Hurd. Sobers got a man ahead of him, and it was knocked away. JoJo White saving it on the turnover. Here come the Celtics. They can tie it. Charlie Scott, who was 3 of 16 Sunday, misses a shot here, and Sobers will come back down for the Suns. And Hundo John Havlicek will check in just a moment. Adams to Westfall began his move to the basket, and he was blocked as he started his assault on the hoop. And again, Heinsohn is upset.
The big question with John Havlicek, of course, is just how sore is his foot. He did say that he injured it on one play in the last ball game. And of course, if he is not able to work at top efficiency, it will be a big factor in this basketball game.
Steve Kaburski goes out, Rick, with the 2 fouls. Havlicek replaces him. So for the first time in this game, Heinsohn sends Havlicek out to play forward. You can expect John to be playing some guard before the game is over. It is 11-7. The Suns build a 4-point lead, and 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go as the Suns have reeled off 9 straight points. Scott on the go to Silas, who broke the late and beat his man.
That is a classic backdoor play.
It was Garfield Hurd who jumped out trying to intercept, and Silas just took off for the basket. Offensive foul is the call, and it's against Ricky Sobers, number 40. Sobers' first foul. The Celtics are over the limit. 5 team fouls, only 2 against Phoenix. 6:16 to go in the first quarter. Hurd backing off of Silas. The Suns use a zone principle defense. Cut off the passing lanes. From deep in the corner, Scott misses again. Alvin Adams, outlet pass. Curtis Perry, Hundo. John Havlicek came over and a left hand on it and knocked the ball out of bounds.
You see John Havlicek anticipating perfectly, cutting off the angle on the play, getting over to knock the ball out of bounds.
Rick, may I compliment our cameramen Sunday and here again tonight. They are capturing everything on those isolated replays. That time it was Havlicek. Sobers begins his move, cut off jumper.
Well, he made that shot, but you notice he has difficulty dribbling the ball with his left hand. He almost lost control of that ball.
It's 13-9, Game 4, NBA Championship. Scott's pass was picked off that time. Hurd with the ball on the floor. Hurd with the jump shot. It's 15-9. It's 5:37. The Suns have put fire. A timeout. Listen to the crowd. They're going crazy here in Phoenix. Tommy Heinsohn going to send Kevin Stakem in a moment. He's going to shake his team up.
How did Pinto get to be the best-selling wagon in the world? It was easy.
Easy on the eyes. That's Pinto Wagon.
Easy on gas. Easy to handle, too.
Turns tighter than a VW Rabbit.
Easy to load and roomy, too.
And easy to buy.
How did Pinto get to be the best-selling wagon in the world?
It was easy.
The closer you look, the better we look. At your local Ford dealer.
This is a commercial for Goodrich Radial Tires. Now, I don't know anything about tires. I'm not a dummy, but a lot of people don't know about tires. You know that, I didn't know that tires wear out faster if they're constantly underinflated. Even these Goodrich Radials, that can cost you more than money. You know, what we don't know about tires can hurt us. So it's a good thing someone's telling you. You're welcome.
Selling great tires isn't enough. B.F. Goodrich, the other guys.
How many mornings a week do you start off like this? Gotcha! Time to change to a Norelco rotary razor. The rotary razor has 36 surgical steel rotary razor blades. 36, safely protected inside 3 floating heads. With 9 adjustable razor settings for a comfortable shave that's razor close, razor smooth. With no more gotcha! The revolutionary Norelco rotary razor. It's one razor that doesn't get you.
And of course, there you see Dick Block, president of the Phoenix Suns, and he knows that his mom's watching, and he wanted to say hello to you this evening. And in that case, I'll say hello to my mother, too, right?
All right, Rick. Mine, too. The last 2.5, and yours, too, Mandy. The last 2.5 minutes, Phoenix has outscored Boston 13-2. Kevin Stakem and White are the guards. White was shooting the shot and drew the foul.
That foul will be on Ricky Sobers, his second personal foul. And of course, the Suns do not want to lose him because he is their primary ball handler against this pressure put on by the Celtics in the backcourt. And it has not been as intense as I had really anticipated, Brent. I'm quite surprised.
Rick Paul Westfall is the leading scorer with 7 points. Collins tops Boston with 5. For JoJo White, that was his first point since he hit the first field goal. And the veteran Dick Van Arsdale checks in with Sobers going out with those 2 fouls.
Brett and Rick, I think one of the reasons for the lack of pressure of Boston in the backcourt could be because of the early foul trouble, and they don't want to gamble possibly with backcourt fouls and are laying off just a little bit more than they anticipated.
As soon as you say that, they're picking him up and pressing him in the backcourt. Never fails, right?
Always happens.
Westfall brings it up successfully for the Suns and uses the glass for his 8th and 9th points. It's 17-11. 5 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the first quarter of this NBA championship game on CBS. Havlicek was driving to the hoop that time through the personal, and it was against Curtis Perry, number 18.
Celtics trying to establish the inside game. Both JoJo White and John Havlicek on consecutive plays, taking the drive rather than the outside shot, which the Celtics have been relying on in the last few ball games.
And they drew the second foul that time from Perry.
Of course, the strategy there, Brent, being that if you can get inside a team's gut, as they say, that means inside that key area, you're going to have much better opportunity of beating a team. You're going to get better opportunities. You'll get to the line more often. Your shooting percentage will increase.
Havlicek hits 1 of 2. Suns were not in the penalty. They will be with their next foul. It's 17-12. Westfall and Van Arsdale now in John McLeod's backcourt. Adams far out from the basket on the double team. It was Paul Silas who fouled Paul Westfall. His second. Celtics are already over the limit, so Westfall will have the penalty. The way he's been shooting, he probably will not need it. Keith Erickson will be checking in.
This is exactly what we talked about, the situation with the Celtics putting the pressure on. You are susceptible to picking up early fouls, and of course, they don't have that depth of the bench. Tommy Heinsohn keeps reiterating that point. He doesn't feel that he can go deep on his bench, and he does not want his key people to get into foul trouble. And now Steve Kaversky's coming back in for the Celtics.
Paul Silas will take a break. So for the Celtics, it'll be Stakem and White in the backcourt, and up front, Havlicek, Kaversky, and Cowens.
Everybody, as far as the Phoenix Suns are concerned, are really looking for Keith Erickson to break out of his horrendous shooting slump that he's been in. He was such an instrumental factor in their 2 series wins prior to this one.
4:43 to go in the first quarter. Erickson was yelling, and that time they got the foul. Keith Erickson, who has been in foul trouble throughout this series. As Rick Barry pointed out, he has shot poorly, and he has also picked up quick personals. It has been a frustrating 3 games so far for Keith Erickson. Game 5, don't forget, Friday night on CBS, 9 p.m. Eastern time from the Boston Garden. Havlicek hits his free throws. It's 19-14, 4:40 to go. Westfall. Adams outside. Cowens staying right with him. The jump shot. And how about that? He has drawn another foul from David Cowens.
Let's take a look at the replay. Here you see Alvin Adams coming off a little screen down play, takes the jumper, gets a good bounce, it goes in. Dave Cowens a little bit too aggressive on the defensive try.
And Jimmy Ard, Rick, has come off of Tommy Heinsohn's bench. Cowens has picked up 2 fouls guarding the rookie. 4:24 to go in the first quarter. It's 22-14. The Suns ahead of the Celtics. The Celtics leading the series, 2 victories to 1.
Not very good movement by the Celtics.
Cowens, inside move on Adams, put it down, and again drew the personal foul. He will come to the line in an attempt to put down his second 3-point play.
There we go, Dave Cowens. Again, establishing the inside game, going up, taking the shot. If Alvin Adams committed that foul, I never saw it. He just stood there with his hands up.
Looked like a phantom foul to me. He's allowed that vertical position, Rick, and I didn't see any contact at all on the play.
A 5-point Phoenix lead over Boston. Look at Cowens battling Adams. What a magnificent duel that has turned out to be. Carhart gives it back to Van Arsdale, who goes to Paul Westfall. Westfall on the penetration, turnaround. Misses, and there was the always hustling Cowens to snap it down. Hondo. 22-19. It is a 3-point Phoenix lead, 3:36. The Suns a much slower team on offense. They will set up a pattern style of play. Adams has left alone. Carhart at the offensive board. Missed, and there was contact. Steve Kaversky very unhappy. His 3rd personal foul.
Let's watch Garfield Hurd. Look him coming in. Steve Kaburski allows him to get good inside position. He goes up, gets the offensive board, turns in. Kaburski kind of throws his right hip into him as he was up in the air picking up the foul. And the reason Gar Hurd was able to get that board is Steve Kaburski neglected to box him off the boards. And if you don't do that, Gar Hurd will eat you alive.
Paul Silas, of course, over on the bench, and now Jimmy Ard is checked in, and Dave Cowens will be out. So the Celtics will have Stakem, Kaburski, White, Ard, and Havlicek against Erickson. Dennis Autry's just come in. Gar Hurd, Paul Westphal, and Dick Van Arsdale. Autry there on Havlicek and switched out. Sticks with him. Havlicek drives in. And a foul is called as they battle for the ball. John Havlicek picked up his first. 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go. And Havlicek has committed that foul in the backcourt. That's why they're coming up. Heinsohn is talking to Dave Cowens over on the Celtic bench.
That foul was committed on a loose ball foul, Brent, and therefore they're going to shoot the fouls because they're in the penalty situation, and we will not have a backcourt foul. It's just a loose ball foul. They'll have one more attempt only.
Ard snaps it down. To 19 and 2:55 to go in the first quarter. JoJo White. The Celtics pull to within 2 field goals.
That's what you call doing it on individual effort right there.
That time it was in the backcourt. Kevin Stakem was on Paul Westphal.
Looks to me, Mindy, like there's going to be no way that Don Murphy and Manny Soko are going to allow this game to get out of hand.
No way. I said that earlier, Rick. They're going to call a lot of fouls very early in the game to establish the oft-used word tempo. They do not want this game to get out of hand.
Brent, we talk about the Phoenix fans here and how vociferous they are. Let's not forget the folks back in Boston. Those people are pretty vocal back there also, and they're going to really be up for Friday night's ball game.
Those folks in Boston will never let you forget about them. 2:39, it's 27-21. Suns ahead, and there was contact away from the ball.
Dennis Autry holding Jimmy Ard as he made a cut through the key area. You take a look at the play. Now watch Autry, number 21. There's Ard going, seeing with the hand out, doing a little bit of holding as he's starting to go, and that, as they say, is a no-no.
Here's the penalty. Suns come back to work, leading by 5 points and 2 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the first quarter. Gar Hurd. Jimmy Ard gives it up to Havlicek. Jimmy Ard.
Once again, Jim Ard giving the Boston Celtics a big lift. The big fellow on the bench, Dave Cowens, in foul trouble.
Charlie Scott was moving in on Dick Van Arsdale, and he fouled him. That is the second personal against Scott.
Let's watch Jimmy Ard in the last play. John Havlicek passes the ball to him, makes a dribble going to his left, spins back, makes a little contact with Dennis Autry, still puts the ball in the basket.
To 24 and 2:06 to go. Friday night, more NBA basketball on CBS. Then Saturday, it's the Belmont as Scott began an assault on the hoop and put it down.
That play was made possible because Keith Erickson lost total contact with the basketball. He had no idea where it was, and if he had seen it, he would be able to turn around and at least make an effort to stop that play.
It's a 3-point Phoenix lead. Off the Garfield Hurd, and again we've got a foul. Kevin Stakem.
Let's watch the last basket. Now watch Van Arsdale just a little fake falls down. Charlie goes in. Now look at Keith Erickson right there as Charlie drove in. Keith Erickson had his head turned to the basketball and had no idea where it was. And he would have been able to possibly prevent Charlie Scott from having such an easy opportunity. The last 9 points, Brent, by the Phoenix Suns have been scored on the free throw line. Make it 10.
31 to 26. Phoenix over Boston. 1:35 to go in the first quarter. The Coliseum in Phoenix. Game 4 of the NBA championship. Again, it was Scott who penetrated. Second chance back to Jimmy Hard, who put it down. So Scott's ability to get inside that lane area the last two trips down the court have helped out tremendous. And there's a reminder about Super Joe Einhorn and the Sports Spectacular coming up, along with the Belmont Saturday. Van Arsdale. Controlled by Garfield Hurd. The Suns will get a second chance. McLeod signals the play. Erickson. And the ball still will not drop for the veteran. Havlicek right back down with a missed shot. And Garfield Hurd with control for the Suns. We are inside of a minute. 45 seconds to go. It's 31 to 28. 21! Dennis Autry with an elbow. Call for the offensive foul. The second personal against Autry.
The Celtics will probably try and get the ball up the floor quickly with 40 seconds remaining. Take a quick shot. This way they can get 2 shots to 1 for Phoenix.
Scott was driving on Van Arsdale. And a foul is against Dex.
Charlie, John McLeod, Al Bianchi, and Ricky Sobers in your screen right now.
You'll have one question that'll lead for 2 shots.
Celtics trailing by 3 and make it 2. Gar Hurd was out to pick for Paul Westphal. Now Gar goes in low. Autry out away from the basket. Hurd turn around left side and it goes down 33-30. Last 15 seconds, the Celtics will play for 1 shot.
Gar Hurd taking advantage of the height advantage he has over John Havlicek.
We'll watch him work against the clock. Kaburski in 5. Inside now, and Kaburski travels with 4 seconds. Steve Kaburski travels. The Boston Celtics turn it over. Celtics will pressure the ball, try to prevent a shot. Here it goes to Erickson. Keith throws it up at the buzzer. Keith Erickson, who has not been shooting well, and maybe that will turn it around for Keith.
That's what he does so well. Brady did it against us, and he killed us. Here's the shot. Watch it go.
With the same amount of gas, you probably would have made it to that gas station if you only had something new called Mobil 1. It's a synthesized motor oil that cuts friction so well, it'll give the average car up to 10 extra miles per tank full. True, Mobil 1 costs more, but in the long run, you're miles and miles and miles ahead.
Once upon a time, there were 3 bears in search of a better way to go. So they looked at motorcycles. One was too much. The next wasn't enough. But the Kawasaki KZ400 Special was just right. At only $9.95, they could barely believe it. And they all rode happily ever after.
Kawasaki lets the good times roll.
Only $9.95?
Check that.
The NBA championship on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. Rona Barrett visits with 4 male superstars tomorrow. Due to mature theme, viewer discretion advised. This is CBS.
Give you an idea of how tough this series has been and just how much the referees are trying to put it under control. There were 11 fouls called on Phoenix, 13 on Boston. And Rick and Mindy, you think that might be a playoff record for a first quarter?
I'd like to look in the book that we're going to do that, Brent. That's an awful lot of fouls in one quarter. We may sometimes not even have that in a whole half or maybe three quarters. Right, Rick?
That's exactly right, Mindy. And, of course, Phoenix went before Keith Erickson's last field goal at the buzzer, went approximately 4 minutes without scoring a field goal. They got them all on the free throw line.
Ricky Sobers has checked back in, wearing number 40. He brought the ball up. He has it now against Kevin Stakem. Stakem and Scott are in Tommy Heitz's backcourt. And Erickson, who hit one at the buzzer, tried to draw the foul as he went down from Steve Kaversky, and there was no foul called on that play. It's 35-30. Phoenix over Boston. Game 4 of the NBA championship with the Celtics ahead of the Suns 2-1. So far it's been a home court series. Charlie Scott went inside and had his shot blocked. And Kaversky had it knocked away and out of bounds. Clock is held up, and we're going to have 10 seconds put on that shot clock. Charlie Scott, who has been penetrating here in the last couple of minutes, got inside and missed, and Kaversky gives it up to Havlicek. Over to Scott. Erickson puts it down, and here come the Suns leading by 5.
Well, of course, they're giving the extra opportunities to the Celtics, and that could wind up haunting them. They were fortunate that the Celtics didn't score that time.
Both starting centers are on the bench. Kevin Stakem fouled Keith Erickson. That is the third foul against Stakem. And again, Tommy Heitzen says, what have we got to do? He's on his feet. He picked up a technical as he joined us late. Tommy Heitzen picked one up early in this basketball game. He's mocking the officials with some laughter right now, but he's furious about this call.
Well, I guess Tommy figures that it's better to laugh than cry.
And crying he can do.
Watching Keith Erickson at the line, he's one of the marvelous athletes in the NBA. Probably would have been a great soccer player. We'll have Soccer Sunday on CBS. It'll be Tampa Bay against the New York Cosmos. As you take a look at the first quarter shooting statistics. Jimmy R. Inside pass to Hondo Havlicek and put it down, and there were a lot of people yelling that's a 3-second violation.
Well, it seemed like John was in there quite a long time, and if there was no 3-second violation, he, of course, made a good play.
Of course, in order to get a 3-second violation, Rick, you have to go 1,001 to 1,003, and sometimes when you count 3 seconds, it's a lot longer than you think it is.
Don Nelson checks in.
There's the play again. Havlicek goes down. He dribbles the ball around a little bit, makes a couple of fakes, goes up, shoots the ball, picks up an opportunity for the 3-point play.
JoJo White, who just come back in, was the one who saved it, and the pass back toward White was picked off by Dick Van Arsdale, who was standing right in the passing lane. Sobers gives it up to Curtis Perry, who after faking hard came up with a missed shot. It's 37-32. Suns over the Celtics by 5. Nelson. Battle, it was Jimmy Ard going high up in the air, and a loose ball foul is called.
Ricky Sobers picking up his third personal foul. Tried to reach up and knock the ball away and caught Jimmy Ard's arm.
Alvin Adams comes back off of John McLeod's bench, and Dennis Autry goes out.
One thing about Dave Cowens being on the bench, he's getting a lot of rest over there. And he, of course, has played a lot of minutes. And the Celtics are still right in the thick of this ball game with Cowens on the bench.
Ard and Erickson were battling for position. And Keith has been assessed with that personally.
Mindy, let's take a look at this play right here. Here you go. Keith Erickson trying to battle for position. Jim Ard trying to battle also. It's like a give-and-take situation. How do you know who to call a foul on there?
The play on that, Rick, is to call it very early. You've got to give the offensive man his position if he's there first. And I think if he'd have called the foul earlier on Erickson, the bumping and the contact you saw would not have occurred.
Nate Hawthorne in for Phoenix. Havlicek with an offensive rebound puts it back down. It's 37-34. A 3-point Phoenix lead. 10:04 to go in the second quarter. Westfall gives it up to Charlie Scott, and I should say Van Arsdale gives it up to Charlie Scott, and then Van Arsdale fouled him, and that is how many fouls against Van Arsdale? His second.
It's the fourth team foul, Brent. Of course, with 10 minutes to go, they have a big advantage. And now watch Dick take his eye off Charlie Scott. Charlie made a great defensive play there. He saw Dick Van Arsdale looking up the floor, anticipated well, went in and took the ball away. There again, John Havlicek making a move, trying to go to the basket. Evidently his foot must not be bothering too much because he's doing a lot of movement, a lot of driving to the basket, more so than he's done in the 3 previous games. Nate Hawthorne picking up his first foul, putting Phoenix in the bonus with almost 10 minutes to go. And that could be a big factor here in the second quarter.
Boy, that is unbelievable, Rick. You know that? There are 2 minutes gone, and we've had 5 fouls called against Phoenix, and that's an indication of what's going to take place in this ball game.
Well, all of the arguing, complaining that Tommy Heinsohn was doing on the sideline seems to have taken effect.
It sure looks like that, doesn't it?
Havlicek can pull the Celtics to within 1. 9:54 to go in the first half. Westphal bringing it up on JoJo White. Van Arsdale takes Scott down low. Nate Hawthorne pops out with Havlicek on him. The battle of the boards won by R. Off to JoJo, quickly to Charlie Scott. Celtics on the move, and Scott couldn't hold on. Adams up court to Westphal. A little too far ahead of him, but Paul got to it in the corner, and Alvin Adams comes back down. Who can hold on to the basketball right now? Here's Van Arsdale. Getting inside, using the glass.
A lot of action going on there, and a nice move by Dick Van Arsdale. Double clutch the ball to get the layup on the drive. That's a good call by Manny Saltobred. Jimmy Arga called for an offensive screen. He put his arms out like a football player trying to set a block. Now watch Jimmy Ard 34 against Nate Hawthorne as Havlicek starts to drive. Look at him. He'll stick his arms out, give a little push-off play. Foul being called by the official, trying to knock down on the aggressiveness.
Do you know that one of the most common breakdowns a driver can have may also be one of the most dangerous? It's a flat tire. Every year, people are killed and injured while trying to change one. So if you have a flat and can't get well off the road, turn your flashers on and keep driving. Your tire can be replaced. You can. You'll find more answers about car breakdowns in the Breakdown Book, free from your participating Shell dealer. Come to Shell for answers.
You fly a lot closer to the crops than to the clouds. But when those last acres are dusted, you know it's Miller time. Time to head for the best-tasting beer you can find.
It's time to relax.
America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
Miller stands clear. Beer after beer. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
I'm Rick Barry, and if you're a basketball fan, I have an idea that's as exciting as sinking the game winner. Visit Basketball's Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts, the game's mecca. You'll see our glamorous yesterdays, the men and the teams, amateur and professional, who built the sport you love. Dr. James Naismith, who invented basketball. Bob Cousy, who refined it. George Mikan, its first oversized star. John Wooden, the legendary coach. They're all there along with 90 more. It's open year-round, waiting for you.
On Friday night, the scene shifts to the Boston Garden. 9 p.m. Eastern Time. 5th game of the NBA Championship. Right now we are in the 4th game with 9 minutes and 5 seconds left to play here in the first half.
Saw the shot there of some of the Phoenix Suns' wives. You talk about intensity in playoff competition. Situation. A friend of mine, Pat Francis, talked to me one time, Brent. He was saying that in basketball, if you played 1 point for each half of the game, and you have to win both halves to be able to get a total victory, would really make basketball an incredibly intense game with, of course, an overtime period of each team won each half.
And I don't think we'll need a change in the rules to give us intensity. We've had it from the beginning. Alvin Adams with a turnaround miss at 8:46 to go. It's 39-36. Suns leading the Celtics by 3 points. Havlicek battling against Nate Hawthorne. Scott gives it off to White. Shot clock inside 10. Charlie Scott hits outside.
Not the type of shot that Tom Heinsohn is looking for. Good defense by the Suns, forcing the outside shot, and Charlie Scott finding the range.
That 3-point Suns lead. The patient Phoenix attack takes the shot clock down before Westfall puts it in. 41-38. 8:05. JoJo White gives it up to Havlicek. Nate Hawthorne to Van Arsdale. 7 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Westfall again outside.
Well, Westfall with the hot hand again here in the second quarter. He was the man that gave the Phoenix Suns life early in the ball game.
He has scored 17 of Phoenix's 43 points. 7:41 to go in the first half. And a great defensive play by Van Arsdale. Just jumped right into the passing lane.
Super play, Brent.
Perry was reaching for that ball and battling against Don Nelson, and it went out of bounds. Paul Silas, Dave Cowens, and Glenn McDonald will be checking in for the Celtics. Tommy Heinsohn sends in 2 starters and a substitute who has not played in this game. Jimmy Ard, John Havlicek, and Don Nelson will go out. Cowens had a long rest, Rick. Do you think that back has been bothering even more than it was during the regular season?
That could be. We'll try and find that out at halftime.
Westfall up to Van Arsdale, maneuvering underneath the basket, and it is Cowens who comes off the bench and right away yanks down a rebound. Cowens with 2 personal fouls. Off of Silas's hands and out of bounds.
Once again, the sloppiness of the Boston Celtics costing them an opportunity for an easy try at the basket. They've got to be a little more cautious with the basketball. Of course, that's tough to do when you're running.
Hawthorne got inside. Underhand scoop miss. Nate Hawthorne will check in for Phoenix. McDonald over Van Arsdale. Batted back by Adams to Westfall. 2-on-2. Now 3-on-3, and there's Cowens. Westfall's turnaround missed. And as they went back up for the rebound, loose ball foul.
Nate Hawthorne picked up that foul, and he has a tendency to do that. He's an incredible leaper, and he really likes to get a running start on those offensive boards, and consequently he picks up a lot of fouls that way going over people's backs.
And Rick, that time he picked up his second foul.
Technical foul was called against John McLeod as JoJo White goes to the free throw line, converts the opportunity.
Each coach has had a technical call against it.
And that's all they're allowed. The next time either coach has a technical foul called against them, it's an automatic ejection, and they must go to the dressing room. So they'll be very careful when they say to the officials from here on in, Brett.
Welcome to the friendly skies, Mr. Wise. Get your ticket quick, Mr. DeWitt. We got space to spare, Mr. Sinclair, on our wide-body plane.
We'll get you a car, Miss Lamar, a fine hotel, Mr. Bell.
At United Airlines, we've got umpteen ways to make a friend out of you. Call us or your travel agent and
get on the plane, Mr. Fontaine.
The friendly skies of your land, United Airlines.
This is the end, no more.
I brought Reunite.
Reunite won't work this time.
Reunite's won 6 gold medals.
Here's gold for you.
Oh, come on, darling. Reunite has wet the lips of some of the world's greatest lovers. It's delicious, like amore.
Amore.
Red for you, white for me, and rosé for a little later.
Where it ends up is up to you.
You are watching 2 automatic typewriters in action. One is the best known. The other has just been introduced. The new one can automatically type in both directions at the rate of up to 350 words per minute. The automatic typewriter that's twice as fast is made by Xerox. That's right, Xerox.
Mindy and Rick, I'm going to give everybody the winner of the Belmont. There's a Greek in Las Vegas by the name of Jimmy, and he's whispering Mackenzie Bridge. Now, I never heard of this horse, folks, so don't hold it against me, but he swears that Mackenzie Bridge is going to upset everyone in that field. And, of course, Bull Forbes, the Kentucky Derby winner, will be there. Majestic Light, the son of Majestic Prince, a former Kentucky Derby winner, also in that field. Saturday afternoon on CBS.
Every time I hear of a name like Majestic Bridge, Brent, reminds me
This is
of
Mackenzie Bridge and
Mackenzie Bridge.
Majestic Light.
It sounds something like that. It reminds me of the town we used to play in exhibition games that was so small that when the tide went out, it never wanted to come back.
Oh, boy.
I was waiting for the rest of that, Mindy, but that's all right. 6 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the first half. Lumpkin is passing toward Adams, and Cowan's got his hand on it. 43-41. Phoenix over Boston by a field goal right now. Let's set the lineups here for Phoenix. We got Westfall and Lumpkin in the backcourt. Adams the center. Perry and Hurd are the forwards. For the Celtics, Scott and White are the guards. Cowan's the center. Silas and Glenn McDonald are working at forwards. McDonald giving away a couple of inches. Must take 30. Alvin Adams with an outside touch. He had 33 on Sunday. It's a 4-point Phoenix lead right now over Boston. 6:20 to go.
Boston's not trying to capitalize on their foul situation. Phoenix has 5 fouls. They have not tried to post anybody down low. They've gotten good penetration, but they've stuck with the outside shooting.
Shot clock becomes a factor. Scott will hurry, and he does. It was Cowens at the offensive board who tapped it down. 45-43.
Excuse me, Dave Cowens established super inside position that time. Alvin Adams was fronting a little bit, and Dave took advantage of it. And we're going to show that a little bit later when we get a spare moment.
Westfall comes to the left baseline. White came up on him, no foul. Perry was dueling, and McDonald picked him off.
Let's watch the play. Dave Cowens' last tap in. You'll see Alvin Adams try to come up in front of him. Now watch how smartly Dave holds him off and keeps him out. He establishes position, releases, goes to the basket. The ball comes off, and he has the inside position. And you cannot give a man like Dave Cowens inside position. But of course, Alvin Adams was not able to recover after he was fronting, and he should have hopefully maybe gotten a little weak side help from one of the forwards.
Curtis Perry grew up playing basketball in the Washington, D.C. area. A lot of fine basketball players out of there. Havlicek and Staken will be checking back in for Boston at halftime. Red are back on round ball. I'll have a report on the coaching situation in Los Angeles. JoJo White to the free throw line. Oh, Silas going back up so Cowens and Silas control the offensive boards. Celtics within 2. It's 47-45. A Lumpkin signals the play. Adams with Cowens watching him ever so closely. Fresh respect for the Rookie of the Year. And it was Glenn McDonald on the steal. Gets past Lumpkin. Brings it down and gives it up to White. Scott, the trailing man on that penetration. He is coming inside, and they are drawing fouls as they come down that lane.
Celtics getting super penetration here in the second quarter, creating numerous opportunities for themselves, whether it be driving all the way in or pitching out for the outside shots. John Havlicek back into the ball game. It was one of those shots that we talked about. It was a bailout shot. Charlie Scott had committed himself. He had taken the shot. Good defense. It was an air ball, and he was fouled after the shot.
We're also going to take a look at one of the top players coming out of the college ranks this year at halftime here on CBS. There are about 12 outstanding prospects, and Garfield Hurd has given up the ball on the inbounds pass. With the game tied, JoJo White puts the Celtics ahead. A key mistake right here. Inside of 5 minutes to go in the first half. Pressure by the Celtics. Scott and White over on Phil Lumpkin, who beats it by himself. Gets past Hondo John Havlicek, still doesn't give it up. And finally White stepped back on Adams, so Lumpkin was dominating. 1-on-1, and Havlicek comes right back. And Charlie Scott at the offensive board, and Alvin Adams takes it away. Hudson can't believe. He thinks a foul should have been called. 4:32. 49-47, and John McLeod is up. Paul Westfall. It's tied at 49.
Paul Westfall should be getting the ball into his hands a lot more often. He has got the hot hand, and he is not getting the ball enough. They should set some more screens and picks and get him ready to shoot the ball.
Inside to White. Celtics definitely trying to penetrate every time they get their hands on the ball right now. 51-49. Celtics leading the Suns by 2. Down toward the 4-minute mark of the first half. Havlicek checking over his left shoulder. Westfall now does touch the ball with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Gives it to Garfield Hurd. And a high arching jump shot goes down. Tied at 51 and 3:46 to go in the first half. Havlicek gets past Westfall. Perry is there. Across to JoJo White. Crowd wanted traveling call. They're on their feet and screaming at Murphy. Cowens with a jump shot. Celtics lead it by 2.
About that traveling, Brent, you really can't have a traveling call if you don't have control of the ball. On that particular play, there was no control.
Heinsohn signaling for Scott to pressure Lumpkin. Lumpkin on the dribble, gives it up to JoJo White. He's definitely dribbling too much. He's got to pass it to someone.
Exactly, Brent.
Here is Charlie Scott from the left corner, and Scott has given the Celtics a 4-point lead. Now Westfall with control, and the crowd is yelling to John McLeod to get Lumpkin out of there. We come down to 3 minutes, and here's Alvin Adams. Waits for Perry, and JoJo White fouled him. Dick Van Arsdale checking into the game, and Phil Lumpkin going over toward the sideline. He'll sit down. Al Bianchi is screaming at Manny Sokol from the Suns bench. It's 55-51 and 2:55 to go in the first half.
This is an amazing new chemical fiber called Aramid Plus. Pound for pound, it is 5 times stronger than steel. Put this fiber in a radial tire and it'll ride smoother than a steel-belted radial. It absorbs vibrations like an extra shock absorber.
Kelly Springfield designed its newest radial tire with Aramid Plus. Strong, smooth riding, the finest Kelly Springfield radial tire ever made. Aramid Plus, it's a step ahead of steel. Kelly Springfield. Tires that make a world of difference.
This 68 Ford pickup is taking one tough pounding in these scenes from the movie Mr. Majestic. This Ford was 5 years old when the film was made, and it wasn't modified to take this terrific beating. Now, you shouldn't drive this way, and we can't promise how your pickup would take stunts like this. But if you want a tough-built pickup, that's Ford. 93 out of 100 of all Ford trucks registered over the last 12 years are still on the job. So get the one that's built Ford Tough.
Saturday at 5 p.m., CBS Sports presents the 108th running of the Belmont Stakes from Belmont Park in New York, where Kentucky Derby winner Bold Forbes will try to capture the third leg of the Triple Crown. That's the Belmont Stakes, Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
From Phoenix, Arizona, this is Brent Musburger along with Rick Berry and Mendy Rudolph. And Mendy, just as Rick pointed out, Paul Westfall with those 19 points, they've got to get back to him. It's 55-51, Boston leading Phoenix.
Phoenix Suns being bothered a little bit by the pressure of the Boston Celtics.
And Arsdale and White, and the Suns turn it over immediately with 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go, and JoJo White from the perimeter trying to give the Celtics a 6-point lead. It was Collins and Adams battling for the ball, and Collins is furious with this call of a loose ball foul. He's over on Murphy right now. That's his third personal foul.
Watch Dave Collins going in. Looks like he gave a little bump there. He bodies Alvin Adams right there. He's still not called for the foul. Now he's called for the foul, jumping over the back, going for it. He fouled him at least 3 times that time.
I saw 2 for sure, Rick.
3 fouls on Collins, 2:35 to go in the first half. Adams with Scott had switched off on him, and Alvin went right over the top. And Jimmy Art's going to check back in this basketball game. It's 55-53. And Dave Collins suddenly becomes the big story of this series. Here is Charlie Scott up against Bill Lumpkin. Alvin Adams takes it down and gives it up. And Collins is still upset. Lumpkin across the line. Stakem will come back in with odds. Celtics have gotten just a little bit rattled here. Unusual. They were ahead. After the 2-minute warning, Garfield Hurd got the bounce pass. And here come the 2 substitutes.
That's Paul Silas, Brent, picking up his 3rd personal foul, and that could be a big key because he does such a super job for the Celtics, both on the offensive and defensive boards. Dave Collins coming out of the ball game. I think Tommy Heinsohn did that more out of fear that he might pick up a technical and do something silly out there.
Steve Kaburski, he'll check back in. Collins over at the Boston bench. Sits down. 3 personal fouls. This is the 2nd time that Collins has gone out of the game here in the first half.
Something very cute just happened at the Boston bench, Brent. As Kaburski was coming into the game, he ran into Collins, and Collins didn't see him. And Collins automatically just pushed him away with his own teammate.
Those are impressive statistics for Collins, being that he has not played that much.
There's Here's Havlicek. Celts up by 2. Suns with control. Van Arsdale off to Lumpkin. Hurd and Perry were hitting those boards. Now the Celtics will have to control those 2 without Cowan. He goes down, and the Phoenix Suns have gone ahead of Boston by a point and 1:30 to go in the first half, and Westfall will come back in. Havlicek to Kevin Stakem from the free throw line, and Boston regains it, 57-56. White picks up Lumpkin. Stakem is over on Van Arsdale. Ard dueling Autry. John McLeod giving Alvin Adams another rest. Hurd up with that shot. And it is Phoenix up by 1 as we seesaw. Down to 1 minute to go in the first half. This game is as close as was advertised. Phoenix favored, but ever so slightly. JoJo off to Kaburski, got away from him, and JoJo White regains control. And here's Havlicek. Kevin Stakem with about 2 seconds on the shot clock hit iron. Lumpkin checking right and left, gives it up to Van Arsdale. And Kevin Stakem was over there pushing on Van Arsdale.
That was
Jimmy Ard was there too. He got called with the foul.
He picks up the foul. He tried to pick him up as he made the move. Let's watch him pass the ball over. Dick Van Arsdale makes the fake going. You can't see his hand, but Jim Ard had his hand right in Dick Van Arsdale's back, Mindy.
Dick, that was the play that we were talking about at poolside today. And we were talking about it, how important it is to keep the hands off of players because it puts them at such a great disadvantage. You particularly never liked hands at all, did you?
Well, I don't think that's the way defense is meant to be played. I think if you use your quickness and your hands and play position, then you can do an effective job defensively.
The last 20 seconds of the first half, Phoenix leading Boston by 3 points. Dave Cowens on the Celtics bench. 3 personal fouls. Watch the clocks as they count down. Celtics must hurry, and a second it was Jimmy Ard. And here come the Suns, 5 seconds. They hit at the end of the first quarter, a couple of seconds, Westfall outside and short. The pace has been furious here in Phoenix. The first half has come to an end, with the Phoenix Suns leading the Boston Celtics 60-57.
It's adored in Bora Bora. It's the pet of all Peru.
It rates great in Guacamora.
It's the toast of Timbuktu.
It's the hit of all New Haven.
A hero in Quebec. The whole world loves world money. Bank America traveler's checks.
You know, we've had a few disagreements over the years, but there's one thing we do agree on, and that's light beer from Miller. Light is 1/3 less calories than their regular beer.
But the best part is that it tastes so great.
The best part is it's less filling.
Nah, it tastes great.
Less filling.
Tastes great.
Less filling. Less filling. You know even less about beer than basketball.
That's it, Heinsohn. You're out of the bar.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Red Auerbach on Round Ball. Red Auerbach on Round Ball is sponsored by Consolidated Cigar Corporation, makers of Muriel cigars.
Bright lights and turn off the gloom. Great tasting Muriel will light up the room. Light up a Muriel and light up your life. Let in the sunshine wherever you are. Reach for a Muriel, it's one great cigar. Light up a Muriel and light up your life.
Hold it right there. Before we tell you why these thumbs are down and hands are extended, this is Pete Maravich. the greatest playmaker and passer in the game today, passing to Henry Bibby, also playing with the New Orleans Jazz. Notice the fingers, notice the wrist, notice the hands. It's firm, fingers spread, follow through, just on a simple chest pass. Now, Pete, in throwing that pass, do you really think about that when you do it, or does it become automatic?
Well, actually, it becomes automatic, but the three basic ingredients in throwing any type of pass is fingertip control, backspin, and follow-through.
All right, now demonstrate the other few fundamental passes.
All right, the four basic are the chest pass and the chest bounce pass. Well, you can throw it two ways, either backspin or forward spin, like this.
Well, what is your major purpose when you throw that bounce pass? Isn't it to get it right here?
Try to get it right to the man's waist where he can handle it quite easily.
That's the key. Too many people throw bounce passes and throw that ball away. Okay, the other two.
Other two, basically the overhead pass, like I like to think the greatest overhead passer in the game today is Wes Unseld, and he uses this mainly for outlet passes. And then your last one is the baseball pass, which is thrown, I like to throw it right from the back of the ear instead of winding up with it, because then you might have a baseball curl, right. So I keep it here, and I keep my left arm out for protection so that if I can bring it back, and I throw it straight out.
We're going to show you some of these passes and some extra passes while these men are in motion. Now, Pete, show them some of those.
Okay, basically going down on a break situation, I'll show the first one is a between the legs pass, which I like to call deceptive passing instead of always telegraphing your passes. If you're standing right there on a 2-on-1 situation, I'm coming down, I'll try to throw a pass in this nature and throw my hand out, extend it like this, which I know you do not like.
You know why I don't like it? Because too many people do it and don't do it successfully. Pete, let me see another one.
Well, I'd like to call this what I call my wrist pass, and this is a very...
Watch this one. I saw that. Why, you won't believe it. Watch this one.
Very deceptive pass. Usually on a 3-on-1 situation, you start out throwing the ball in this direction like you're going to throw it out to this man coming in, and actually what happens is it goes the other way. So it's a very good deceptive pass.
Don't try it. Don't try it.
It's very tough on your elbows.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He could do it, and the players playing with him better know that it's coming, because I always felt this. What good is a great pass, no matter how good it looks, if his own teammates don't know it's coming? Now, Pete, what about passing from the move? You know, on the dribble.
All right, passing on the move. Again, you got basically different type passes. You got your basic bounce pass coming in like this in this situation, or you might want to come down and throw behind the back. Bounce pass, the same direction.
All right, now pass in the air.
Passing in the air, as you mentioned, Coach, is very dangerous because a lot of times guys commit themselves. Most of the times what I like to do is coming off a pick situation where our center rolls, or coming down on a break where you can go up, put a shot or pass to a guy if he comes out.
Remember, the way the rules of basketball are, once he is in the air, he only can do two things, pass or shoot. He cannot come down. So he knows darn well that once he leaves his feet, he better hang up there a long time if that guy's going to switch and pick off that pass. So he better be sure of what you're doing. Am I right?
Correct.
Too many people, especially on a high school level, they like to jump in the air all the time. And they don't become concerned when people intercept their passes. Now, I'm going to close this thing with one reminder. I've always had a philosophy on passing. The guy played for me, and like I told you many times, I don't care how you throw it. Over your head, between your legs, behind your back, any way at all, as long as the guy catches it. No pass is a good one unless you catch it.
Turn on the bright lights and turn off the gloom. Great tasting Uriah will light up the room. Light up the Uriah and light up your life. Get in the sunshine wherever you are. Reach for a Muriel, it's one great cigar. Light up a Muriel and light up your life.
Red Auerbach on Roundball has been sponsored by Consolidated Cigar Corporation, makers of Muriel cigars.
We're back at Phoenix at halftime with the Suns leading the Boston Celtics by 3 points. And I know that many of the NBA fans around the country are very much aware that we are going to have 7 new coaches starting next season. That figure could swell to 9 because still up in the air tonight are Cleveland and Los Angeles. Jack Kent Cooke, the owner of the Lakers, told us this afternoon that midway through next week he will make up his mind definitely. Bill Sharman's contract is up. He has not been rehired. Bill Fitch has an attorney who is trying to get him out of the final 2 years of his contract at Cleveland. Jack Kent Cooke has not approached Fitch, but you can draw your own conclusions that if Bill Fitch becomes available, it's entirely likely that the Lakers are going to go out after him. Jack Kent Cooke also said one other very interesting thing. He is going to try to acquire a couple of quality ball players to go along with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The Lakers do not have a top draft choice. That goes to the Golden State Warriors in the Cazzie Russell transaction. Now Chicago is looking for a coach. And, of course, up there they have lost Dick Motta. Jerry Krause today was named Director of Player Personnel. Once upon a time, he was with the Phoenix Suns. He is familiar with Cotton Fitzsimmons, so perhaps Cotton now will jump into the Chicago situation. And mentioning to mind the fact that we have got about 10 or 12 outstanding prospects who will be coming into the NBA. From UCLA, perhaps Marcus Johnson and Richard Washington will come out hardship. One of the best, John Lucas of Maryland. Take a look.
Lucas broke into Maryland's starting lineup as a freshman. 4 years later, playing against the toughest competition in the country, he'd scored a school record 2,015 points. But John Lucas is much more than an outstanding basketball player. He has played number 1 on the Maryland tennis team for those same 4 years, and now he wants to play both sports professionally.
I love basketball, and I love the concept of running and sweating and the team sport of 10 individuals playing and, 5 on one team trying to outsmart 5 on the other, and I like that part of it. But I also like the individual part of tennis, to get away from it all, the quietness, the moods are so much different. I'm a type of person, I'm not a cocky person, I'm a confident person. I feel I can do both. I feel I'll have some trouble in negotiating with it, but I don't really worry about it. All I want is a shot. I can prove I can play. I just get a chance.
I feel that John can combine the two sports because there is time now with the WTT circuit, in effect, where he could concentrate during that period of time and forget about basketball and play basketball during the basketball cycle. Of course, he's a great drawing card, and his game is a powerful game and the kind that people enjoy.
Come on, Luke, take him.
He moves so well on the court. You think the ball is past you, and he's there, and he's gotten it again. John does have a chance, but certainly he's going to have to put more time than he has in the past.
Well, I think I'm good enough to play. Now, I can't really play the WCT or the World Circuit tennis, but I think I could play World Team Tennis, some celebrity tournaments or something on that area and play. But I would like to do it because I think that I could be just as good in tennis as I am in basketball. Tennis complements my basketball footwork and anticipation. It's just that never say die mood that you're developed in basketball, because anything is possible in a basketball game. It carries over with me in tennis. I know a lot of times I'm down 2 or 3 sets, and I just try to hold my concentration. And I said, well, you've had to make free throw shots with 14,000 people sitting there. Well, if you can't hit a serve in with 400 or 500 people, then you really shouldn't be in sports, because that's very competitive. I like to play both, maybe 10 years, and then let it go and run for president.
The way Lucas is going, he might make it. But being president might not be as tough as playing 2 sports professionally. Dave DeBusschere comes to mind. He finally had to choose between baseball and basketball. But John Lucas is a confident young man.
The NBA championship on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. Gene Stapleton heads the guest list when Dinah Shore opens her delightful new series Saturday at 10, 9 Central on CBS.
Sonny Hill, as we expected, a tough physical ball game that first half.
You've said it all. In fact, it was so tough that we had a record number of fouls. I'm quite sure was called in both first and the second quarter of the ball game. The Phoenix Suns shot, I have it right here, 26 of 28 from the foul line. The Boston Celtics 19 for 22. And it's sort of tragic to see a good basketball game like this revolve into a foul shooting contest, and I hope that in the second half these two talented teams can get out and play good basketball.
I hope so. Now, what do we got on the highlights here, Sonny? What did you select to show us?
Well, the Boston Celtics came out and established the fact that they wanted to go inside. They came out and went inside to Cowens right away, and Dave took Adams to the basket. And this is what the Celtics worked on yesterday in practice. I came over to practice. I saw them do this. Hurd shows the kind of defense that the Phoenix Suns were able to play at segments of the ball game, keeping the ball from going inside. And talking about Hurd, he also had an excellent shooting first half as he scored a number of key field goals, as we see right here. Jim Ard came off the bench when Cowens got in foul trouble and played very well. And here's a good move by Jim Ard. Ard's coming on very strong, and I look for him next year to be a real good player for the Celtics. Paul Westphal just did it all. Super Paul is probably a better name for him because he scored 19 points in the first half of the ball game, had many key goals. Defense, that's what the Celtics want to establish. Hurd throws the ball inbounds away. JoJo White steals it. And I thought that this was a key point in the ball game because the Celtics were able to pick up some momentum at that time, which enabled them to get some key defensive plays after that and establish to some degree what they want to do in the ball game.
I think we're going to expect the same thing in the second half, don't you, Sonny? And we'll look for that together with Sonny Hill and Rick Barry and Brett Musburger as we continue with the rest of the championship game from Phoenix.
JoJo White for Pro Kid. Gotta get on up, gotta make a move, gotta get on up. Baby, pick me up.
Yeah, they're springing and they get me on up there. But what I really like is the protection and the support they give you. Because after you get up there, you've got to come down.
But you let me down. But you let me down easy. Down easy. You let me down easy. Down easy. You let me down easy.
George Piparo 74 Chevrolet gets better mileage now than it got before. The only difference, a fresh set of champions. Ralph Mazzillo 72 AMC Matador gets better mileage now than it got before. The only difference, a fresh set of champions. No matter what you drive, a fresh set of Champion spark plugs alone can help mileage and performance. Which side is your car on? Get better mileage. Fill her up with Champions.
Get that rhythm. Get that rhythm. Get ready. Shoot the ball. That's my man.
Okay, Dave, you get that rhythm down, Dave. Get that rhythm down. Get ready to shoot that ball.
Elvin Hayes and the NBA are volunteers for Special Olympics.
That's my man.
You can help a special athlete, too. Write Special Olympics, Washington, D.C.
The preceding was a public service announcement on behalf of the National Basketball Association. Tonight's NBA championship game is sponsored by Datsun, America's #1 selling import for cars and trucks. Datsun saves.
Back in Phoenix, Brent Musburger along with Rick Barry, Mindy Rudolph and Sonny Hill. And Mindy, while you and Sonny were looking at the highlights, I went over to talk to the Dutchman, Tommy Heinsohn, about Dave Cowens, and Tommy is absolutely livid. He claims that the referees are giving every break in the world to the rookie Alvin Adams and none at all to Dave Cowens.
I don't totally agree with that. I think the referees are doing a super job up to this point. They've had a very, very difficult first half to work, and I think they need a little pat on the back, and I'm going to give it to them.
60-57 Suns over the Celtics as we start that second half. Cowens came over and Garfield Hurd was there.
Tommy Heinsohn really upset right there, thinking the ball should have got over to his Boston Celtics. Celtics coming out and starting the second half with full court pressure.
Sobers, Adams, Hurd, Perry, and Westphal. John McLeod's 5 starters. Scott, White, Cowens, Havlicek, and Silas. So Havlicek replaces Steve Kaburski as a starter as we begin the second half here in Phoenix. The Celtics leading the series 2-1. Game 5 Friday night in the Boston Garden on CBS, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Against the shot clock, it was off of Westfall's hands, so they'll get 10 seconds with which to work now. Cowens will set the play. Adams will front him. And he uses up the 5 seconds. Alvin Adams does the job, and the Celtics turn it over.
Watch the good defense this time. Alvin Adams jumping up, cutting off the passing lanes. Of course, a lot of credit must be given to the rest of the Phoenix Suns for shutting off the openings.
Sobers bringing the ball up, and Charlie Scott was in on top of him with his 3rd personal foul. Sobers taking a little rest.
One thing Charlie's got to learn to do, and Mindy, I think you'll concur with this, when a lot of physical play takes place out there and Charlie gets called for a couple of fouls, he tends to lose his composure, and he seems to make another mistake right afterwards. He has got to try to compose himself. He really wasn't set after that call. He seems to have settled down now. I think a little timing in between has helped him.
Rick, I think it also affects his offensive play, too. He tries to overcompensate.
Westfall taking the pass, driving to the basket. Turnover. Sobers comes right back up with it. Could not convert on that particular turnover, but a fine defensive play. Cowens to Havlicek. Oh, man. And Cowens right there with the offensive tap in, and here comes the full court pressure. Now they back off. They're going to let Sobers come up. Scott backing away from him. It's 62-59, 10:45 to go. Cowens at the side of Alvin Adams. Lob it into Alvin, who likes to face the basket and pick somebody off. Puts the ball on the floor. Comes up with a jump shot. Completely over the basket, and Havlicek waits to bring it down. Celtics can pull to within 1. Scott was cut off by Sobers, gave it up to Hondo, and here's Paul Silas. They'll give him that shot as they have. Cowens with a miss, and there is Silas' strength. Not outside, it's inside with an offensive rebound and an easy layup. Celtics pull to within 1, and 10:05. Sobers on the penetration, and Scott was pursuing him, and Charlie Scott has picked up his 4th foul. Heinz again upset.
Charlie Scott talking it over with Manny Sokol.
And there is no way that Charlie Scott's going to win that battle, Rick.
That's for sure. Take it from me.
White stepped up over Westfall and got a piece of Paul's left shoulder as he came up. His 3rd personal. 3 team fouls against the Celtics, none against the Suns. 62-61, Phoenix leading Boston. Just underway in the 3rd quarter. Cowens out on Adams. Here is Ricky Sobers. Got inside Scott. Back to Adams on the drive that time. Put it down, and Heinz is furious. He's gone back to the far end of the Celtic bench. He thought for sure that Alvin Adams should be called for an offensive charge on that play. But instead he got the field goal and drew the foul.
There's Tommy Heinsohn, but John Coley, his assistant coach, ran right over and got right in front of Tommy Heinsohn. He was afraid that Tommy might really go crazy and get thrown out of this ball game because he has picked up 1 technical foul. Now let's watch this replay. Here's the play coming up. Westfall hit Adams. Westfall makes the pass over to Sobers. Sobers will penetrate now. Now you'll see a pitch off to Adams. Adams charges in. Paul Silas moving over and not establishing his position until after Alvin Adams had committed himself in the air. And you must be there 1 step beforehand.
He was on the move, Rick. Absolutely right.
4 fouls on Paul Silas. John Havlicek has switched to the backcourt for the first time in this game. Kaversky, Silas, and Cowens will go up front for the Celtics. Havlicek and White. Scott takes a break. Silas gets inside. Shot won't fall. John Havlicek is tied up inside. We're going to have a jump ball.
The action is getting hot and heavy underneath the boards.
Boy, I'll tell you, there's more physical contact under there.
The Suns should control this tap, Brent.
And they do, Rick. Hurd tips it over to Sobers. 9:35 left in the 3rd quarter. 65-61. Suns over the Celtics. Kaversky out on Perry. Gar Hurd using Perry as a screen. Kaversky outlet to Havlicek. Celtics within 2 field goals. Here's Kaversky from the left baseline. Now they're within 1. Cowens pressuring the ball and Alvin Adams. Westfall sets the play on the backcourt. Havlicek will take Paul. White goes over on Sobers. 2-point lead by the Sun. Guards crisscross. Hurd tries to pick off JoJo White. Up over Sobers' head to Gar Hurd. Gives it off to Alvin Adams. And Dave Cowens yanks it down, and now the Celtics can tie it with 8:52 left in the 3rd. JoJo White on the penetration. drew the foul, but the ball would not go, and it was Garfield Hurd, number 24, who pushed him as he began his assault. We're going to have a timeout call right here. 8 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Suns over the Boston Celtics by a score of 65-63.
We've asked these men to help demonstrate the advantages of a Datsun 5-door wagon over ordinary 3-door wagons. With the Datsun 5-door wagon, you can get in the back seat easier and quicker, which means you can leave quicker.
We both can't get in at the same time. On three now, I think we got...
Datsun saves. See the Datsun 610 and 710 5-door wagons at your Datsun dealer.
Hi. I don't drive that way out on the streets, and please don't you either. You know the old gray ghost here? Well, inside she runs like a top. That's why the folks at STP hired me, because they know I take good care of my own cars, including my new family wagon here, and I use STP oil treatment in all of them. They want me to tell you why? I'll tell you why. On account of it works. And that's the name of that tune.
Sunday at 1:30 p.m., CBS Sports will present the incomparable Pele, leading the New York Cosmos against the defending North American Soccer League champion Tampa Bay Rowdies. That's the New York Cosmos, led by Pele and Italian sensation Giorgio Canaglia, taking on the Tampa Bay Rowdies, Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern.
Coming to CBS Sunday afternoon, Pele and all that gang. Action from the North American Soccer League as the New York Cosmos will take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. That's this Sunday. Saturday, don't forget the Belmont. Super Joe Einhorn. If Super Joe makes it, Mendy Rudolph said he's going to go out and challenge him and try to get over 17 buses.
There is no way that you can be one of them, baby. Maybe if they're miniature ones, I'll try it on a hopscotch.
JoJo White has tied it up with 8:46 to go in the third quarter. As Rick and Mindy have pointed out, it's getting hot and heavy underneath the boards. Adams cut away, slid off of Kaburski and went out of bounds over there.
That play was ineffective. Gar Hurd evidently didn't know what the play was. He brought his defensive man, Kaburski, into the play and caused the mess up.
Kaburski. Silas is at that offensive board again. And on the strength of that basket, the Boston Celtics take a lead on the Phoenix Suns, 67-65. Boston trying to keep the forwards out. Silas couldn't stop Hurd. JoJo White rotated back that time.
That's a good play by JoJo White. Now here we'll see the last basket. Kapersky coming up, gets the easy jump shot. Now watch Silas come into your picture. Nobody even near him.
Adams with Kapersky switching off on him. Collins watching Hurd. With about 2 seconds, Gar Hurd arches one in from outside. Tied at 67. 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Collins takes the pass from Hondo, and Silas is all alone inside. A defensive mistake inside by the Suns.
You'll notice what's happening, Brent, is that Gar Hurd is coming over and double teaming on Collins, leaving Silas wide open. And there it is. Watch it. Wide open is Silas, Rick.
What Ricky Sober should have done, he was the weak side guard on that play. He's got to drop down as deep as the basketball, and if he had done that, he might have been able to prevent that play.
Suns going back to work, trailing by 2 points in the third quarter. This is the fourth game of the NBA championship. Paul Westphal on the drive, and his left-handed shot is tied.
Paul Westphal having the hot hand, excellent move. He has tremendous ability to shoot the ball with both the right and left hand in close.
23 points for Westphal. Battle for the missed shot. Sobers picks it up. Suns can take the lead here again. 7:20 to go in the third. Gives it up to Alvin Adams. Adams faces the basket. Cowens out on him. Cowens goes with him. And it was Steve Kaburski who stepped over and committed the foul on the pass, which was coming inside. And on Kaburski, his fourth personal foul. 5 team fouls against the Celtics and only 1 against the Suns.
It's a tough break for the Celtics. They were playing excellent defense that time. Dave Cowens forcing Alvin Adams out of his range to the corner. Steve Kaburski a little bit over-aggressive, trying to get the ball away from Curtis Perry.
Suns lead.
touchdown.
By 1, and here come the Celtics. Kaburski helping White out. Sobers stays with JoJo. Now JoJo goes underneath, and here's Kaburski facing the basket. JoJo takes it left corner, short. Adams, and it was pushing underneath.
That's a silly foul by Alvin Adams that time. There was a bad shot by JoJo White. He was off balance, a little bit out of his range. The ball bounced out far. Adams had the ball without any difficulty, but he pushed off on Dave Cowens, and his fouls like that, they can really cause a team a lot of trouble. They have to be a little bit smarter in situations like that.
When Roger Green was a little boy, he wanted to be a policeman. Last week it happened.
Car 34.
When Roger brought home his new Bearcat police scanner.
Car 34, 10-4.
Bearcats automatically track down the action around town and make you a part of it. Police calls, fire calls, emergency calls.
Car 34 has suspect in custody.
Well done. Bearcat scanners, the most exciting thing that's happened to home entertainment since television. Bearcat, the largest selling police scanner in America.
I really find my Datsun extremely durable. I drive it everywhere. I literally live in the car to a degree. And 247,000 miles on that Datsun, and it just keeps going and going and going and refuses to quit going. That's a durable car.
They're put together to stay together for Datsun savings that just won't quit. All 3 Datsun B210s deliver 41 miles per gallon highway, 29 city. Datsun saves.
Betty, meet Chris Case, our new anchorman. Hi.
We've already met. Your aftershave. It got here about 5 minutes before you did.
Don't jump.
Actually, I was going to ask you to wait out there.
Honey.
Can I make a suggestion?
Suggest.
Menon Skin Bracer aftershave. It's got a nice clean smell, not too perfumey. It doesn't arrive before you do.
Thanks, I needed that. Chris Case, Skin Bracer. Remember?
I don't believe we've ever met.
Skin Bracer doesn't get there till you do.
From the Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Phoenix, Arizona, Game 4 of the NBA Championship Series has been tied 7 times. Right now, Phoenix leads Boston by a point, 70-69. 6:48 to go in the third quarter. Cowens came up against the double team and put the Celtics ahead by a point. Sobers was there along with Alvin Adams, and David went to the basket anyway.
Dave just took it right to him, and they couldn't stop him.
Watch it! Garfield Hurd. Sobers cuts off him and gets to the basket on the easy layup.
That is very unusual. Very poor weak side help that time by the Celtic defense. Something that they do so well.
White misses and Hurd rebounds. With the Suns leading 72-71, Paul Westphal has control. Curtis Perry wants it inside, puts it away. It's 74-71. 2 pretty offensive plays in a row by the Suns.
Let's take a look at this last basket coming up and watch this excellent pass coming up. There he goes, rolling to the basket. Garhard, lob pass by Westphal, catches it in the air, lays it in. Tremendous timing.
That was the 3rd foul against Curtis Perry. Silas short, and Cowens just dove in there to pick it up and then went down.
Fans thought there should have been a foul. Don Murphy called it a force out of bounds. Seemed to me that Dave Cowens, no momentum carrying out. Here he goes, he catches the ball, he lands, it goes right out of bounds. I can't see how that's a force out.
He bounced off the Phoenix player. You're right, Rick.
Celtics have possession as a result of that. Silence. Got hurried up in the air and was guilty of a 3-second violation. They have turned it over. Tommy Heinsohn calling a timeout with the Celtics down by 3 points. It has been a frustrating week in Phoenix for Tommy Heinsohn. He will not choose this city to vacation in.
Ask a friend about Firestone, Firestone, Firestone.
Firestone is really terrific. And they've always helped me because I'm alone and I have to depend on them.
Firestone steel-belted Radio 500s are built by craftsmen, piece by piece. But when it comes to how they perform, Just ask a friend.
I'd recommend him all my friends, even my son-in-law.
Firestone.
State Farm agent Doug Mays.
We specialize, of course, in the personal lines, meaning the automobile insurance, the fire insurance, the life insurance.
They want someone who is professional, someone they can have confidence in, and they want to be able to understand what they're buying.
State Farm agent Jim Golden.
For their family. But most of all, they want someone that they can count on to be there when they need him. And I think most people will find that a State Farm agent's that kind of a guy.
State Farm is there.
The team's wearing red and blue, but the captain's wearing an old yellow sweater. Today, he's just there for the cheering. This is the color Polaroid Super Shooter now turns into a 60-second masterpiece. More red, more blue, more yellow than you ever got in 60 seconds before. Polaroid Super Color film and $28 Super Shooter.
Back in Phoenix, and is that youngster ever enjoying the action here? They love this team down in Phoenix with 5 minutes and 41 seconds to go. You know, when you think about it, they haven't got a lot of major teams down here. Arizona State, a great college team. JoJo White picked up a foul on Ricky Sobers in the backcourt. And there is the president of the team, Richard Block, applauding that call. Right on, says Richard. And don't forget Game 5 back in the Boston Garden.
Ricky Sobers going to the free throw line with an opportunity to widen the lead from 3 to 5. There's number 4. The fans have taken upon mimicking Tommy Heinsohn's every motion when he's up off the bench. They're standing up and doing the exact same thing that he's doing.
Penalty shot. So far the Suns are not over the limit. 5:34 to go in the third quarter. Sobers uses the penalty well, and it's 76-71. It's a 5-point lead and 5:30 to go. Cowens working against Autry. Autry went down, and the foul is against number 18, David Cowens. That's his fourth. He turned around on Autry and was called for using an elbow. Heinsohn up again. Cowens livid.
Paul Silas setting a pretty good screen right there on Dennis Autry. Now watch Autry try and establish position. He gets in front, the contact, he falls down. Dennis Autry does that as well as any center in the league. And Dave Cowens did not appreciate it at all. He's still complaining about it. It's making me look good.
Out of bounds. Phoenix has turned it over.
What he was looking at, Brent, was to Don Murphy, who possibly he thought may have called the foul the other way. But Don held up on his whistle.
Heinsohn is up off that bench watching the action right now. Curtis Perry knocked that pass out of bounds. It's 76-71. Heinsohn is livid over there on the side.
I have to say one thing. I don't think he's going to make it through the game, Brent.
It's 7-5 that you're right. Havlicek gives it up now. Here comes the rookie. Sobers. John fell down. Let's see if he's all right. Hondo is back up. 78-71. He's got the ball. He's okay. He went down heavily trying to catch up with Sobers. He slipped. Charlie Scott, you can hear the crowd. That's the sixth man here in Phoenix. Off of Kaburski's hands, Perry came out for it, and both the referees are looking at each other, and finally they'll come the other way with Phoenix. They didn't know for sure which way they were going to go with that one. Ricky Sobers puts it down. 4:26, and listen to this noise in the background. No, whistle. They didn't hear the whistle.
Exactly.
I don't believe it counted.
No, Manny Sokol blew the whistle. The crowd was so loud that nobody could hear the whistle. He called a foul on John Havlicek, grabbing Ricky Sobers when he was cutting through to the basket. Sobers will go to the free throw line. Tom Heinsohn just doesn't believe what he's seeing out here this evening. He wants a timeout after the free throw, he said.
I'll tell you something, fellas. I'm surprised that Tommy Heinsohn hasn't been chased up until now in the way he's been carrying on over there.
He has spent more time off the bench this evening than he has on it.
Timeout is called, which is what Tommy Heinsohn told John Havlicek. I don't know who's ahead down there in Phoenix. You can just listen to the crowd. It's 80-71. The Suns have built a 9-point advantage in an arena where they have won 18 of their last 19 games. And the only loss during that streak was to the Golden State Warriors on a Friday night down here during the Western Conference Championship. I was here that night, and the Suns had a chance to win that basketball game. They did not play well against you.
That's exactly right. We had a lead. They came back in it. They had an opportunity to win that one also, and we were able to pull it out, but they came back for another big win.
10 straight points, Rick, by the Suns. They were down by a point when they started this streak.
Right now, what Tommy Heinsohn sure is talking to his team about is that it can't let the emotion of this crowd affect the way they're going to go out there and perform. They must try to go out there and do what the Boston Celtics do best. That is continue to put on good pressure, to try to get good shots, perhaps establish that inside game a little bit more that was so successful early with Dave Cowens, and he also has been able to score a few more times here. I don't think that the Boston Celtics will lose their composure. They're too fine a basketball team for that.
Reminder of Super Joe Einhorn. World Cycle Jump. Saturday on the Sports Spectacular.
Rick, I might add, when all this has taken place, that is the Phoenix lead with JoJo White on the bench. JoJo White has just come back into the ball game, and we'll see how that affects it from here on in.
And of those 10 straight points that you mentioned, Brent, scored by Phoenix, 6 of them have come from Ricky Sobers, who was, of course, thrown out in that last ball game.
Scott and White in the backcourt, and the whistle was blown inside that time.
It's Curtis Perry that time called for holding John Havlicek.
His 4th foul, Rick, and Keith Erickson immediately gets off the bench and enters the game, replacing Curtis. 4 minutes and 13 seconds to go in the third quarter.
That, of course, equalizes the advantage that the Suns would have on the boards, bringing Erickson in for Perry.
White gives it back to Silas on the roll off of that pick. Cowens was there, won't go back down. Hurt gives it up, and here's Sobers, who's had a hot hand recently. 80-71. Suns over the Celtics. Hurd with an inside move, and it won't stay down, and Ricky Sobers comes back out with control.
Both teams missing easy opportunities underneath the basket. A lot of tension in this ball game.
Gave the Suns a fresh 24. Erickson.
That's what he did so well in the last 2 series. Pop open that easy opportunity, 18-footer.
An 11-point lead. Sobers knocked it away, but Cowens was there, and no basket.
That is a foul on Ricky Sobers for reaching behind JoJo White, picking up his 4th personal foul also.
Westfall checks into the game.
Mindy, you pointed out that JoJo White was on the bench before. Paul Westfall, the leading scorer for the Phoenix Suns, was on the bench during that run by Phoenix. Shows you just don't know what's going to happen in a professional basketball game. It is really incredible.
That's what makes it so great, Rick. It's so unpredictable.
Exactly. And one thing I want to point out now we have a chance, it's easy for us to be sitting here telling the things they should be doing and shouldn't be doing, but it's very difficult out there on the floor to achieve perfection. The whole thing, as far as the secret of it is concerned, is to try to minimize your mistakes and learn by those that you make.
82-72. Tommy Heinsohn watching as the Celtics have just scored their first points in over 3 minutes. We have 3 minutes and 16 seconds to go in the third quarter. Suns patiently go to Paul Westfall from deep in the corner, and out come the Celtics. They can pull to within 8, but they've turned it over on a sloppy pass. And Scott's hurt. He hit a microphone over there.
He hit the cameraman first. He hit the cameraman's camera, and he hit it on his knee.
He ricocheted off of a cameraman, and he hit a microphone over there as he came down. I'm not sure where he was struck. It might have been around the groin area where he took that microphone.
Looked like he grabbed the knee first, Brent.
Was it the knee?
Him going down. He grabbed his right knee as he was going down, or the left one. I'm not positive, but he reached for his knee. Let's take a look now. Here's Charlie, crashes in. Now watch his knee. It looks like the right knee crashes into the camera. Now watch him grab a knee. No, it was his left one. He grabbed the left knee. You see his hand on the knee right there.
That's a film cameraman over on the side.
It hit the table. Looked like his left knee crashes into the table.
No question about it. He hit that film cameraman and then bounced off up into the table. Paul Mahalik, the alternate referee, reaching over to assist him. Tommy Heinsohn is there, and Charlie Scott is up. He of course, was a former star down here.
And I'm happy to see that, Brent. The crowd here, as intense as this series has been, they're giving Charlie Scott an ovation, and that is really good to see. That's good sportsmanship.
Rick, let's keep an eye on that knee, however. Charlie's still bending down, trying to stretch it. Three minutes, 82-72. Phoenix with a 10-point lead. Autry working against Cowens. Westfall has it knocked away. Scott's got a lead. Long pass. Garfield Hurd gets back and knocks it out of bounds.
Well, the knee didn't seem to affect Charlie's quickness that time. He used his hands very well, anticipated well, knocked the ball out of the hands of Paul Westfall.
Dick Van Arsdale working in that backcourt for Phoenix along with Paul Westfall. Havlicek comes up on Westfall, misses off Autry's hands and off the side of his body and out of bounds.
Dave Cowens with a smart play there, knocked the ball off of Dennis Autry out of bounds.
Al Bianchi yelling instructions. He is the assistant to John McLeod. Cowens pops out. Havlicek, and he traveled as the two of them. Havlicek and Scott got tangled up with the offensive rebound, and they have turned it over.
Let's watch this play. Watch Charlie Scott and John Havlicek both push the man out of the way, and John catches it, loses his balance, and walks with it. But Charlie Scott just shoved one of the Phoenix Suns off to get that rebound.
2 minutes and 15 seconds left in the third quarter of Game 4. Erickson gives it up to Westfall. Cowens yelling defensive instructions. Autry gets back. Cowens gets inside position and takes it down. 2-on-1, and Scott very good breaking that time. Knee not bothering him. 82-74, 1:56 to go in the third. Van Arsdale goes down. Here comes Scott. It's 2-on-1. Scott has a gimme. It is 82-76, and back they come, the men in green. Van Arsdale cuts to the leg, gets inside on the penetration.
And that is another foul. This time it's going to be on Charlie Scott again. That's going to be his fifth personal foul. And he is a little bit upset about it. This could be a problem for the Celtics. When Charlie goes out of the game, they seem to lose a little bit of the intensity as far as picking up in the backcourt and putting pressure on the Phoenix Suns guards. And it's going to be Kevin Staken coming in for him, Brent.
And Rick Alvin Adams just checked back in for Phoenix. So the rookie is back at center. He's going to finish out the third quarter. They'll start the fourth. And here's Kevin Staken being booed, obviously, because of the fight that he got into with Ricky Sobers on Sunday afternoon in Game 3. And don't forget Game 5 in the Boston Garden, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on CBS. And here comes Staken, second-year pro from Providence with number 27. Against Paul Westfall, a former teammate. Westfall comes in behind him and was called for the foul, reaching around him.
Watch the play here. Staken dribbling the ball. Now watch Westfall sneak around his left side, reach under, try to go for the ball, catches a little bit more than just the basketball. And in this situation, with an 8-point lead, only a minute and a half to go in the third quarter, that's a little bit of a gamble. Kevin Staken was not in a good position to be an offensive threat, and that's a silly foul, I would say, right there by Paul Westfall.
Misses both free throws. And Arsdale was out to pick. Westfall went around him. He got to the left baseline. Heinsohn screaming over on the Celtic bench. Van Arsdale pump shot. It's 10 points again. Phoenix ahead of Boston. And Van Arsdale blocked JoJo White. And Van Arsdale says, I had my position.
Okay, Mindy. This is another one of those calls.
The big key here, Rick, is to watch that defensive player.
There's the mayor of Phoenix. She was very happy about the play that she saw there. I'm sure that the expression was not quite the same on the last one.
On those blocks and charges, Rick, it's the defensive player that usually will cause the contact You've got to watch whether he's retreating or whether he is stationary.
Celtics trailing the Suns by 8 points and 1 minute to play in the third quarter. Adams trying to pick someone off. Celtics with excellent interior defense. Westfall finally on an awkward turnaround. Couldn't get it in. And here come the Celts. They can pull to within 6. From the perimeter, White misses. Celtics battle to save it, and they do. 2 players out of bounds, Silas and JoJo. Ball back to Stakem. Van Arsdale now joins the attack. Cowens puts it down. And it's 86-80 and 21 seconds. And they ran into the president of the Suns, Richard Blount. Using the clock finally, Westfall drove into Dave Cowens. Cowens jumped in on him, and let's see who that first foul is on.
That is on Dave Cowens, Brent, and that is a big foul. Paul, that was a great move by Paul Westfall to create that foul opportunity by Cowens. He got by JoJo. Watch him come up. Cowens goes up, leaves his feet. If he hadn't left his feet, he might have been able to draw the charge, Mendy.
He's been all right as long as he's been on the floor. You're right. The thing I can't understand right now, Rick, is the driving lane has opened up and the Celtics are not shutting the Phoenix Suns off.
The weak side help has left a little bit to be desired. Very unusual, Brent, for Paul Westfall to be missing 2 consecutive free throw opportunities. He's an excellent free throw shooter.
Makes this one, it is 87-80. Phoenix in the last 5 seconds of the third quarter. Stakem driving to the basket. It wouldn't go down. Havlicek tries to put it back up. Buzzer goes off, and the Celtics cannot score. The crowd is on its feet in Phoenix. They think the Suns have come all the way back. Let me remind them that the Celtics have 12 minutes.
I definitely recommend a Datsun from the experience that I've had. Well, when I originally bought the pickup, I thought I'd be able to put about 50,000 miles on it, and then I was figuring on trading it off. But it's got 118,000 miles on it now. It's been absolutely the most durable vehicle I've ever owned, and I'll definitely buy another one if it ever wear out.
2 tough Datsun pickups, 7-foot stretch and 6-foot standard. No wonder Datsun's America's #1 selling small pickup. Datsun saves.
Do you know what to do if you're stuck on the highway? This woman did. First, she pulled off the road so her car wouldn't be a hazard to other drivers. She turned on her flashers, put the hood up, and tied on a handkerchief distress signal. Then she locked the doors and waited for the police.
So nice to see you.
You'll find more answers about car breakdowns and how to avoid some of them in the Breakdown Book, free from your participating Shell dealer. Come to Shell for answers.
The NBA Championship on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. A hidden TV camera plays a major role in a kidnapping on Hawaii 5-0. Tomorrow night at 9, 8 Central on CBS.
Charlie Scott applying ice to that left knee, which he banged against the scorer's table when he tripped over a film cameraman. Celtics go back to work with Scott on the bench. So far, we have had 55 fouls called in this game. There were 65 called in Game 3 here Sunday. It's been that tough. White got inside, hit the basket, and drew the foul.
JoJo White.
Sobers.
JoJo White showing why he is such an effective performer. He has been probably one of the most consistent of the Celtics throughout the season as well as in the playoffs.
Sobers will be playing with 5 personal fouls.
He won't be playing long, Brent. They're bringing in Phil Lumpkin.
3-point play for White makes it 87-83. Sobers back quickly. He's been working along with Van Arsdale, Erickson, Gar Hurd, and Alvin Adams. Turnaround by Hurd.
Nice soft cut shot by Gar Hurd. We haven't heard very much from Alvin Adams, and I would expect to see him start to do a little bit more offensively for the Phoenix Suns.
Jimmy Ard is in the game now with Dave Cowens on the bench.
Right, especially with Ard out.
Now Havlicek inside pass to Silas, who put it on the floor. Still went back up and got the basket. 89-85. It's 4 points.
Stay with Art in the game. This is who we capitalized on in game number 3 against Jimmy Ard. Alvin Adams.
Phoenix offense extremely spread out right now. And Arsdale working against the shot clock, and the ball was knocked out of bounds. Touch last by Staken.
That's a break for the Suns. They would have had to force up a difficult shot. Now they get 10 more seconds to work for a good opportunity.
And Rick, here's Lumpkin checking in as Sobers goes out.
Let's see if they'll take JoJo down and try to post him over Lumpkin.
Hurd got into the center. Havlicek got a hand on that ball. 89-85. Celtics can pull to within 2 points. Silas on a drive to the basket, tossed it up, through the foul.
Very important at this stage, Brent. That's 2 team fouls now on the Phoenix Suns. Take a look at the play right here. This Silas putting it on the ground, going up to the basket, picking up the foul. But it's a situation now where this is really a big bonus for the Boston Celtics. They've got Dave Cowens and Charlie Scott sitting on the bench, and they're whittling away at that Phoenix lead.
Curtis Perry checks in for Phoenix. Gar Hurd goes out. That personal against Phil Lumpkin, his first. John McLeod's wife looking on. They've only been married for about a year and a half or 2. John, of course, formerly the coach at Oklahoma.
One statistic that's very important for the Phoenix Suns, they were able to stay even with the Celtics on the boards, 23 each in the first half.
White was back pressuring and almost took it away from Alvin Adams. Now Perry with the ball on the floor.
Very good call by Manny Sokol. It's going to be a 10-second violation in the backcourt. They did not get the ball across the half-court line in time. John McLeod, I'm sure, was not too happy with that turnover.
His team ahead by 3. And the Celtics whittling away. Stakem. Silas again at the offensive glass. Through the foul. He'll come to the line.
Paul Silas has really been a thorn in the side of the Phoenix Suns, and here he's going to exhibit why he is the performer that he is in this game. Look at this great move that he makes here and slides inside, uses good position, keeps the ball alive, comes back, gets it again, goes up, picks up the foul.
4 fouls on Keith Erickson. Celtics down by 3.
The only other player I've ever seen who was as proficient at offensive rebounding and did not have great jumping ability was Bailey Howell.
Paul Westphal, who has just checked back in. And as he does, the scoreboard shows 3 team fouls against Phoenix and none against the Celtics. Down to the 10-minute mark. Suns need a victory here to even up this championship surge. Boston would dearly love to go back to the Garden leading 3 games to 1. Adams to Van Arsdale, who cut off his man beautifully. And that's why Alvin Adams was the Rookie of the Year. 91-87, it's a 4-point lead, and 9 minutes and 40 seconds on that clock. Stakem missing. Battle for the loose ball out of bounds, and it will go over now to Phoenix.
Let's take a look at this last play by Phoenix. Alvin Adams goes up in the air, makes a super pass to Dick Van Arsdale, who cut to the basket when his defensive man turned his head.
Erickson wanted to give it to Van Arsdale, not open, so he takes the shot. And the Celtics control at the defensive end. Chance to pull to within 2 points. Ard was driving to the basket that time, and the crowd thought he should have been called for an offensive foul.
Jimmy Ard is a little mechanical in his moves. Let's watch the play here. Now notice his left shoulder. He's going to dip his left shoulder as he makes the fake and goes to the basket. Watch his left shoulder. He tries to lean in right there. Alvin Adams picking up the foul, hitting him on the arm as he goes in. Mindy, what do you think about that little dip move with the left shoulder? He's like initiating the contact there.
It depends again, Rick, on the position that the referee is in, whether he can see it or not. Of course, if he can get away with it, he'll do it all night.
Right. Jimmy Ard once again doing a good, smart thing, going to the basket where you have a lot better opportunity to capitalize on defensive errors.
Celtics pulled to within a field goal. Pressure now as Westfall comes up. Stakem takes ball. No team fouls yet against the Boston Celtics. Lob pass to Alvin Adams, who puts it away inside. Ball movement by the Celtics as they try to get an inside shot, and they do, successfully by Jimmy Yard. 93-91. 8 minutes and 25 seconds to go. Charlie Scott on that Celtic bench with 5 personals. Ricky Sobers on the Phoenix bench. He has 5. Those are the only 2 regulars with 5. Adams. 2 quick field goals by the Rookie of the Year, and here he comes again in the fourth quarter. It's 95-91. Cowan's still on the bench over there for the Celtics. He has 5 fouls also.
That was Paul Westphal picking up the foul. That is his 4th personal foul. Watch the play. He grabbed onto the pants of the man he was guarding, is what Don Murphy said, as he was trying to cut across to the opposite side of the floor. And he is really upset about it. He was trying to find out what happened, and when he was told, you saw his reaction there.
Bianchi and McLeod are arguing along with Paul Westphal right now.
They're claiming that it was Kevin Staken who should be at the foul line, I believe, rather than JoJo White. They said JoJo wasn't even in the play and he shouldn't be at the line. It was Kevin Staken.
You can see why, watching JoJo put his free throws down. 95-93, 8:04. Suns ahead, and they are still complaining about the fact that it was JoJo White who was at the free throw line instead of Kevin Staken. Got a timeout in the last 8:03 coming up.
I started drinking light beer from Miller a couple of years ago. I started drinking it because I heard it was less filling. But you know something? I kept on drinking because it tastes so great. Now, I don't care what you guys like about it, as long as you like it.
Hello, Mickey. Got a light?
Sure, doll. What's a nice girl like you doing in a commercial like this?
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
We're Transamerica, the people in the pyramid. And we're going to give you first-rate service at a fair price from every company that's part of Transamerica. From Occidental Life of California and Budget Rent-A-Car. From Pacific Finance and Transamerica Insurance. From United Artists and Lion Moving and Storage. From every Transamerica company, we promise first-rate service at a fair price every time.
All right, here we are, and you can see where the arrow is pointing. Paul Westphal grabbing Kevin Stakem's shorts, and they had every right in the world to be arguing. The officials missed this play. JoJo White had no business being on the free throw line. He's a good free throw shooter. Kevin Stakem had just a short time ago missed 2 free throws, and so that's what the argument was about, and the Phoenix Suns were right.
And the 6th man in Phoenix up cheering again. 8 minutes and 3 seconds. 95-93, the Suns over the Celtics. Suns trailing the Celtics in this championship final 2 games to 1. Van Arsdale, Westphal, Erickson, Adams, and Perry. Shot clock goes down towards 5 seconds. Westphal has it blocked by Jimmy Yard, who came across.
Well, Looked to me like that might have been goaltending. I don't know whether the ball reached his height or not. Jim Ard made a great play on it.
I disagree with you, Rick. I think the ball was going up, and I think he caught it before it hit its apex.
10 seconds for the Suns. Adams with Ard on him. And the foul on John Havlicek.
That is John Havlicek's third personal foul. That's only the first team foul against the Celtics, and the Suns are in the bonus. A very big factor in a close basketball game.
Adams gets around on Ard and hits the iron. Terry deflected it over to Westfall.
That's a big break for the Phoenix Suns. A tough shot by Adams didn't go, and they were lucky to get the ball back.
4 points, Suns lead. Collins and Scott still on Tommy Heinsohn's bench. 7:20 to go in this game. JoJo. And it's a 2-point Phoenix lead.
Tommy Heinsohn faces a very interesting problem. How long do you keep them out? Can the Suns possibly run off 6 quick points, and then you might have real trouble bringing them back in? Or do you bring them in now while it's still close? Interesting problem.
Suns take the shot clock inside of 10.
Oh! 84!
And it was against Jimmy Ard.
Let's watch the play here. Notice Jamard's hands. Right now he's got 2 hands on. Now there's one. There's one. Now he's got both hands again. He still has another hand on him. He's playing him totally with his hands.
3 fouls on Ard. Adams drives. Was going to pass it. Kept the ball in his right hand. Tremendous ball control. And just banked it in. It's 99-95. 6:40. Ard against Adams and Curtis Perry.
That is a terrible shot to be taking at this stage. That is not Jim Ard's play.
Alvin Adams brings it home. It's 101-95, and Tommy Heinsohn has got to get Collins and Scott back in this ballgame.
Let's watch the
I don't
play
think he
again.
can wait, Rick.
I don't think so. He's got to get him in. There's the pass to Adams. The bad shot enabled this breaking dunk by Alvin Adams.
Unbelievable as it may sound, my first Datsun had 150,000 miles on it before I ever relined the brakes. The car is durable, reliable, dependable, and I do believe that with a little care and maybe love and affection, the car may run forever.
Like all Datsuns, economical B210s make the savings last. Datsun saves.
This is an amazing new chemical fiber called Aramid Plus. Pound for pound, it is 5 times stronger than steel. Put this fiber in a radial tire and it'll ride smoother than a steel-belted radial. It absorbs vibrations like an extra shock absorber.
Kelly Springfield designed its newest radial tire with Aramid Plus. Strong, smooth riding, the finest Kelly Springfield radial tire ever made. Aramid Plus, it's a step ahead of steel. Kelly Springfield. Tires that make a world of difference.
Hey, good buddies, you got lead foot. Traffic is wall to wall. Lots of steamers. Hope my heat light doesn't show its color. Come on.
Leadfoot, you got the yellow night. My rig's loaded with what you might need. A big, fresh fill of Prestone coolant to fight boilovers. And Prestone coolant system products for their special cash refund.
Yellow Knight, where is that deal?
At that Prestone display now.
10-4 and rolling your way for Prestone 2.
We've got one brewing in Phoenix. It is 101-95, Suns over the Celtics.
And you're looking at the man right here, and there are his stats. 20 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and Alvin Adams has scored 8 of Phoenix's last 10 points to give him a 6-point lead.
Collins back in the game. Charlie Scott back in the game. The stretch run. Both with 5 fouls. White, Harris by Perry. Over to Scott. And the pass is turned over as it goes out of bounds.
Excellent defense again by the Phoenix Suns as Ricky Sobers prepares to come back into this ball game.
Down to 6 minutes. Havlicek helping Collins out with Adams as Perry comes up with a turnaround and JoJo White with rebounding position. Celtics trailing by those 6 points and White pressuring, and Keith Erickson came from behind, got a hand on the ball and forced the turnover.
Great pursuit by Keith Erickson that time.
Now Van Arsdale sets it up. Suns go to work against the shot clock. Adams being fronted and back. Here's Silas over on Perry. Adams far away from the basket. Shot clock down toward 5. Inside of 5. Pass gets away from Perry. And it has gone off. Would you believe that play? I thought for sure it was going over to the Boston Celtics that time.
That was good hustle by Curtis Perry, who never stopped hustling after the ball and had a chance to throw it back in off of Paul Silas's legs.
Perry going out right now, and Garfield Hurd throws the inbounds pass to Adams. And it is Westfall, 103 to 95.
A great head fake, and the defensive man made the big mistake that you shouldn't do, leave your feet defensively.
Celtics trail by 8 points. Towns wanted to give it right back to Charlie Scott, and it goes off the Celtics and back to the Suns.
This is not what you expect to see, the Boston Celtics making silly turnovers. Those are the type of plays that really hurt in a close ball game, and they usually are the team that has the poise and executes so well. Very reminiscent of what we did in Game 7.
4:55, 103-95. Erickson off the iron. Havlicek comes out, and the Celtics got a 3-on-2 developing. Scott over on the right takes the pass, gives it up to JoJo, and it was Ricky Sobers who jumped over on the defense.
Celtics had a good opportunity there, but give credit to Ricky Sobers for a fine defensive effort.
4 minutes and 43 seconds to play. Suns battling to tie this championship up. Havlicek puts it down. 103-97. It is a 6-point Suns lead. Sobers loses it, but Westfall was right there. The Suns will patiently go to work now on the clocks. Hurd holds it. Shot clock motoring down to 7, and on the turnaround, Westfall missed it, and the Celtics can close the gap right now. 4:15 on the clock. Scott turns inside of Paul Westfall, who kept a hand on the ball. It'll be the Celtics. They'll set an inbounds play. Charlie Scott will throw it in. JoJo White's the deep man, and Cowens pops to the side, and here's Silas. Havlicek uses the Silas screen but misses, and Garfield Hurd did not give the Celtics a second chance. 3 minutes and 55 seconds left in Phoenix. 103-97.
Phoenix Suns need to get a good shot here.
Cowens jumps out on Westfall on the switch. Sobers down in the corner.
Charlie Scott showing about a 4th consecutive playoff game in the finals, setting all sorts of records for that particular statistic. Not exactly one that you would like to see happen if you are a Boston Celtics fan, especially Tommy Heinsohn as being the coach. You don't want a player like that to foul out of the game. Let's watch the play. Charlie Scott coming, running over, trying to fight off the screen. You see him right there as he hooked Alvin Adams. Right there, he's holding on to him again. No question about the call.
Celtics not yet over the limit. 3 fouls. Manny Sokol was over talking to Tommy, and Heinsohn making a couple of steps back toward him. John Killalay, the assistant coach, pushing Tommy back. The crowd yelling for that second technical. Tommy picked one up early. Curtis Perry replaces Keith Erickson for John McLeod.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Tommy Heinsohn has really been demonstrative over there. Has gotten away with quite a bit in this game, Mindy.
I think he should have been probably ejected maybe 4 or 5 minutes ago, Rick. He has really been up and down like a yo-yo.
Adams missed the shot, and here's Hondo back for the Celtics. Gar Hurd, outlet now to Westfall. Cowens comes back with JoJo White. Adams gets inside, and there's Dave Cowens. And Cowens down with the rebound. 3:19. Don Nelson on the floor for the Celtics. Havlicek in that backcourt. Charlie Scott having fouled out. Don Nelson from the left corner put it down. It's 103-99. It is a 4-point Phoenix lead. 3:04. We're going to have a timeout as both teams will go over to talk it over. The Celtics over to meet a very unhappy Tom Heinsohn, who has been up and down both games that the Celtics have played here.
Well, I would have to say the Phoenix Suns in the last 2 sequences down the floor became a little impatient. Alvin Adams took 2 quick shots, enabling the Celtics to go back down the floor and have an opportunity. They were 6 up. They had a chance to go to 8. They did not capitalize on it, and that could hurt them.
Tonight's NBA championship game sponsored by Datsun, America's #1 selling import for cars and trucks. Datsun saves.
We're back in Phoenix, the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, with 3 minutes and 4 seconds to go, and John McLeod diagramming for the Suns as you look at Paul Westfall's statistics.
John McLeod, I'm sure, is going to try to get his Phoenix Suns to get a good opportunity at scoring a basket. They need it badly. They had a chance to capitalize on some turnovers by Boston. They have not been able to do it. The impatience has hurt them somewhat, and I'm sure he wants to try to get them down inside, hopefully to pick up that 4th foul on the Celtics as well as scoring the basket. Right now, the Suns are in the bonus. Celtics are not, and that could prove to be an important factor down in these last 3 minutes and 4 seconds.
Going to the corner and hit the strong side. Scene shifts to the Boston Garden Friday night. The Celtics against the Suns, and keep in mind that the Celtics have not lost a playoff game in the Boston Garden this year. As a matter of fact, the last time they lost was in that opener of the Eastern Conference Final a year ago to the Washington Bullets. 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Game 5. 3 minutes and 4 seconds. It's 103-99. Suns have the ball out of bounds. Gar Hurd will toss it in for John McLeod. Here's Ricky Sobers. Silas goes back down with Hurd. A 4-point Phoenix lead. 2 minutes and 55 seconds left in this game. Sobers gives it back to Perry, who drives underneath and puts down a great big basket for them.
Exactly what I talked about, Brett. They tried to get inside, and they ran the play to its perfection.
105-99. 2:35 left. Don Nelson throws it up on the move, and Paul Silas had inside position on Adams. Celtics down by 2 field goals. What a marvelous game Paul Silas has played at the offensive board, as he usually does. I want to see Paul Silas sometime play a bad one there. I don't think he knows how. Here's Gar Hurd, Silas there on defense. Sobers trying to get inside, gives it back to Alvin Adams with only 4 seconds left on that clock. And the 3-second violation, an important turnover.
This is an important series now for the Celtics. If they cut it down to 2 points, really puts the heat on the Phoenix Suns.
105-101. We are inside of 2 minutes here in Phoenix. Dave Cowens rolls the hook shot, and the Celtics trail by a field goal. Now the Suns come back. One of their 2 rookies, Ricky Sobers, puts it down. He's working along with Dick Van Arsdale. John McLeod moves down. Maybe he's going to send Erickson back in. Yes, indeed. It is Keith Erickson getting up. Curtis Perry holding it against Nelson. 138. Suns lead it. Sobers on the penetration. Throws it in. It's 4 points again. 107, 103, and 130. Havlicek right back down. Silas with control. Gar Hurd giving him a lot of room. They'd love Silas to shoot it outside. He's inside. JoJo White, and it's 2 points again. Suns with the ball. The pressure cooker heats up. Sobers takes it and cuts in behind and brings it up, checking the clock. 114, 112, 107, 105. Suns leading it by a field goal. Celtics lead the ball back right here. Some good defense. Shot clock goes down toward 5 seconds. Garfield Hurd got inside, and he tapped it back in after missing it. Tommy Heinsohn wants a timeout. 58 seconds. The Celtics are trailing it by 4 points. 109-105, and it was Gar Hurd the second time who put it down.
Well, those Phoenix Suns, Brett, I just have to really give them a lot of credit. They just hang tough and come up with one big play after another in crucial situations. Let's watch the play here. There's the pass to Hurd. He's a little off balance on the shot. He misses the easy opportunity, but watch how quickly he goes right back up. He doesn't even waste any time. He's over the rim, tipping it back in on a great second effort. The Celtics have been coming down. They, too, have been making the super plays, coming down with the big basket by JoJo, the big basket by Dave, and you've seen some really crucial plays being made by both teams under what would be very, very severe pressure situations. And this is the sign of a great athlete, being able to handle those situations and not let the pressure affect them.
I think what might be important here too, Rick, as we get out into the last minute, is that the Celtics do have one foul to give, so the next foul they commit will not be a penalty situation. And knowing the Celtics and the intelligent team that they are, they will use it wisely and probably try and steal someplace to pick up the ball and possibly get a field goal.
Phoenix Suns, in turn, must play smart also, and they have got to use the clock. That's their greatest ally right now. This next defensive series is one of the biggest defensive series they will have had to this point in their season.
Super Joe Einhorn takes center stage on the CBS Sports Spectacular Saturday. 15, 16, 17 buses, what difference does it make? You'll see it live, 4:30 p.m., and also the Belmont Stakes. And don't forget Mackenzie's Bridge. We're giving you a sleeper tonight.
Right-o. And now, the 58 seconds left. If the Suns can make the Celtics use up 15 to 20 seconds on the shot clock, they really can help themselves a great deal. They can't let the Celtics get a quick, easy basket. They must make them use up the clock.
Crowd chanting defense. Clock starts rotating down towards 50 seconds. It's 109 to 105. Celtics need to set up here and then get it back. Collins again rolling inside. They trail it by 2. 50 seconds left in this basketball game.
That's exactly what they did not want to allow to happen.
Here is Sobers bringing it up on JoJo. Collins in the backcourt, pressuring the ball. Collins was leaving Alvin Adams. Inside of 40 seconds. Shot clock down towards 10. Suns lead it by a field goal right now. And there was a whistle. Don Nelson was working against Curtis Perry, and he held him up, and he drew the personal foul that time.
That's a big play. Celtics will now be in the bonus. That takes care of that, Mindy, what you brought up. Now we have a situation where they get a new 24 seconds. There's only 34 to go in the game. If they can use up the clock, and John McLeod is going to call a timeout, and if they do score, the Celtics will then get the ball with approximately 10 to 12 seconds left in the basketball game, and the Suns would definitely be in control. This is now the biggest offensive series of the Phoenix Suns season.
Let's put it on the other side of the coin, Rick. It's probably the most important defensive series coming up for the Boston Celtics.
Without any question, and of course, the Boston Celtics, the one advantage they do have, if indeed they were not able to overcome this Suns lead right now and they lost this basketball game, they are going back to their home court where they have not lost, and it will become a 3-game series with 2 of the games being played in Boston.
And while we have a chance, I want to credit our director, Sandy Grossman, and our producer, Chuck Milton, with another outstanding job. I've been wondering how both would work with sunburns, and both have worked extremely well. 34 seconds. It's 109-107.
Look for some intense defensive pressure on this inbounds pass. The Celtics have a tremendous reputation for being able to come up with a key defensive play on an inbound situation. And of course, the Suns had some difficulty in the third quarter where they turned it over twice in the same situation. Who is it going to be? Alvin Adams? Paul Westphal?
Let me go on the hook here, Rick. I've noticed that Curtis Perry is beating Don Nelson. Let's look to see if they clear out and possibly go to Curtis Perry.
I would agree with you on the penetration standpoint. As to who they go to, Mindy, I think they're going to want to get the ball down inside.
Mindy, hold up just a moment, because I think he's going to take Curtis Perry out right now. He's going to go with Garfield Hurd, Keith Erickson, Dick Van Arsdale, Alvin Adams, and Ricky Sobers. So Perry goes over to the sideline and sits down with 34 seconds on the clock. The Celtics, of course, we have Collins, Havlicek, Kaburski has come in to give them just a little bit more mobility as Nelson comes out. If the Celtics had the ball, I'm sure that Nelson would stay in there for his shooting touch. Clock starts down. Mindy Rudolph and Rick Barry have set the stage. The Suns lead it by 2. Patiently against the clock. Alvin Adams turns to pass it off. Garfield Hurd with Kaburski on him. Keith Erickson out away from the basket. Won't go. Alvin Adams. Here come the Celtics with a chance to tie. Down toward 10 seconds. Here's Hondo Havlicek. Heinsohn pointing at the clock. Havlicek now gives it over to JoJo White. White pumps one up. Won't go. There it is. The Phoenix Suns have given us a 6th game as they win again at home. The Celtics had a chance with 10 seconds to go.
The big play here is whether or not they had a timeout to use. Why did the Celtics not call a timeout to set up?
Let me tell you that Brett Auerbach teaches you not to call the timeout before we go off the air. Throughout his career, he has said if the shot clock is down, bring it down and get it in fast. That's why they didn't go to the timeout. Tommy Heinsohn was not calling for the timeout. He wanted quick pressure and the shot. That's Red Auerbach's style. Tonight it didn't work. So the final is 109-107. It means Game 5 Friday night, Game 6 Sunday. Glenn Musburger saying goodbye. From Indy Rudolph, Rick Barry, and Sonny Hill. From Phoenix Medford's Memorial Coliseum with the final score, Phoenix 109, Boston 107.
The NBA Championship on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports. Rona Barrett probes the life and loves of 4 male superstars tomorrow afternoon. Due to mature theme, viewer discretion advised. This is CBS.